Oscar owes me a trophy. My time travel is a loss to the entire Blue Star Entertainment Circle. Feeling the disappearance of the peeking eyes above his head, Zhao Yuchen's expression remained unchanged, but his heart was already shaking in the diary. Only he can see this diary, and it doesn't matter how he wants to write it. Of course, he also recorded the content of the speech, just now in his diary. It sounds like a record, but it's actually just a word count, mixed with rewards. Can the diary condemn him as much as the reader? But he didn't know that his hydrological behavior allowed the girls holding diaries to connect with the context, and it was easy to figure out the cause and effect. Old monkey, third Hokage, can you really be so shameless? The long list of content related to the will of fire in the diary. The women said they could read it but could not understand it, but their hearts were greatly shocked. If third Hokage can brazenly say, "This is the will of fire in my mouth," it will really refresh the lower limit of morality. But they didn't know that Sarutobi Hiruzen not only could say it, but also planned to ask Zhao Yuchen to organize what he said into a document, and each ninja would send a copy at that time. It doesn't matter if you don't understand it, just say, "Third generation Sir Cowhide." Alright students. This concludes today's class. After school, please write an essay of no less than 3,000 words, asking to start around the will of fire, and give it to me in class tomorrow. A warm reminder, this is Master Hokage's request. The composition score will affect your graduation exam score 7 days later. Sarutobi Hiruzen no longer paid attention to the situation here, and Zhao Yuchen immediately ended the protracted class. He turned and walked out of the classroom, leaving gracefully under Iruka's admiring eyes outside the door. Boom. It wasn't until the classroom door was closed that the students reacted. Well, what did teacher Yuxi say in the end? Homework, 3,000-word composition. 3,000 characters. Didn't you only need 800 characters before? Terrible. It's also related to graduation. God, I don't want to graduate. Just kill me. A group of students howled like ghosts and wolves. Who would have thought that they were about to become official ninjas, and they actually had to do their homework? Is there something wrong with old Hokage? Oh my god, I haven't finished my review yet another 3,000-word essay? Naruto took direct aim at Sarutobi Hiruzen. After all, according to Zhao Yuchen, this assignment was assigned by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Injustice has its head, and the debt has its owner. Others are not as bold as Naruto, daring to scold third Hokage directly. But for the first time, they thought there was nothing wrong with what Naruto said. It's really long-winded. Sasuke watched this scene impatiently, but moved quickly, took out the paper and pen and began to write. He wanted to record what Zhao Yuchen said before he could forget it. If he can't even graduate, how can he take revenge? I have to say that Urzuzi is cute and silly. Shikamaru, how should I write this composition? Akamichi Choji, who has no brains at all, finds a good gay friend for the first time. No need to write. Shikamaru stared at the dead fish eyes and said, "The graduation exam is clone technique, which has nothing to do with composition." He would not do such a troublesome thing as 3,000 words. As for the content of the graduation exam, students like them who come from big families have already heard about it. It's not a leak, because the normal difficulty can't help them. Zhao Yuchen is completely spoofing. Oh. Akamichi Choji didn't think that much. No matter what, he just listens to Shikamaru. By the way, do you want to tell Naruto and Kiba? Akamichi Choji asked suddenly. Stimulated by Naruto, Inuzuka Tooth also joined the army of complaints, which was outrageously daring. No. Shikamaru refused without thinking. When he entered the school in the morning, he happened to hear Iruka tell Naruto the content of the graduation exam. And Inuzuka Ya was born in the Inuzuka clan, so he must have known the assessment questions in advance. In the end, they were fooled by Zhao Yuchen, and their IQs were worrying. And both of them have big mouths. Tell them, that is, tell the whole class that no one will be able to write essays except Hinata. Zhao Yuchen must not focus on him, the culprit. Black-bellied people are dangerous, so he doesn't want to mess with them. Ha ha ha, the graduation exam is clone technique. What does it have to do with composition scoring? Of course I lied to you to play. Those who have been exposed to rain, since you have become a teacher, how can you not add a few basins of water for you? Of course, it would be great if you were allergic to the will of fire in the old monkey. What Zhao Yuchen wrote in the diary proved Shikamaru's guess. Shikamaru-san, you're really smart, Hinata said to Ino. Although the old love complains about troubles, he is indeed very smart. Ino gave an acknowledgement. The two women sat right behind Shikamaru and Choji, just in time to hear what they were saying. Then you still write? Ino asked. Of course. Hinata nodded slightly, her voice soft but with indescribable firmness. Of course you have to write the homework assigned by the teacher. Although Zhao Yuchen learned from the diary that this was done on purpose, homework is homework. Hinata-chan, you are too honest. Ino shook his head lightly, then his blue eyes lit up, and he leaned into Hinata's ear and whispered, Hinata-chan, I think this is a good way to give the bento to teacher Yuchen reason. Ino was very observant and found that Hinata was carrying 2 lunchboxes. The bento box is huge, and the portion must be quite large, and she guessed she couldn't finish one portion, let alone Hinata. So she guessed that Hinata, like herself, saw in the diary that Zhao Yuchen didn't have lunch, so she planned to borrow a bento to approach him. But when they arrived at school, they realized that there was no reason to give Zhao Yuchen lunch. But now, there is a reason. I'm not, well. Hinata originally wanted to deny that she was going to give Zhao Yuchen a bento. After all, Zhao Yuchen called her wife in the diary, she should be angry, and giving lunch would be misleading. But Ino already knew that she didn't have the ability to open her eyes and tell nonsense. Okay, let's do it then. Ino showed an expectant expression. At that time, she will get some information from Mr. Yuchen's mouth. Snapped. Suddenly, there was a knock on the table in front of him, which startled Ino. Is there something wrong? Ino looked at Haruno Sakura, who came over suddenly, frowning slightly. Did this wide forehead take the wrong medicine? Today I will definitely grab the chance to practice against Sasuke. Haruno Sakura provocatively said, with some kind of anticipation deep in his eyes. Boring. Urzuzi pouted when he heard the movement. Huh? Ino half closed his eyes, waved his hands and said, it's up to you, I'm not interested in black-haired dogs. Haruno Sakura, Shikamaru and Choji, Hinata. Uchi Sasuke. Shua. Uchiha Sasuke stopped what he was doing, and turned to look at Yamanaka Ino, obviously concerned about the title, Black-Haired Defeated Dog. In fact, not only him, but because of the noise made by Haruno Sakura, the attention of the whole class is on them. I thought it was another jealousy around Sasuke, but I didn't expect Ino to say something amazing. But having said that, black-haired defeated dog does not sound like a good word, but what does it mean? Black-haired dog. Haruno Sakura was stunned for a moment, and asked in confusion, it's all girls who like Sasuke, but who does Sasuke not like? How could it be a black-haired dog? Others don't know what the black-haired defeated dog means, but Haruno Sakura does. When she and Ino hadn't broken up, they read comic books together. The male protagonist of the manga is liked by several female characters. Ino supports one of them, who is beautiful, aristocratic, and a childhood sweetheart with blonde hair. In the end, he is defeated by an ordinary female protagonist. At that time, Ino yelled that the childhood sweetheart female character was a golden-haired loser and did not deserve to have blonde hair. She was comforted on the surface, but she was very happy in her heart, because she brought in the perspective of a commoner heroine. So she knows what black-haired defeated dog means. Sasuke pursues the same heroine as others, but will lose when the odds of winning are high. But how is this possible? I was talking nonsense. Anyway, I'm not interested in Sasuke anymore, don't bother me about this kind of thing anymore. Ino didn't want to reveal the existence of the diary and waved his hand impatiently. You. Haruno Sakura wanted to say something else. But before he could speak, Aruka's voice came from the podium. Students, please go back to your seats, class is about to begin. Haruno Sakura felt unwilling, but obediently returned to her seat. Ino ignored Sasuke's gaze, turned his head and continued to whisper with Hinata. Invisibly, the diary has divided some people into 2 worlds. Teacher Mizuki. Teacher Chunhwa. In the office, Zhao Yuchen didn't know what happened in the classroom, otherwise he would definitely make a note in his diary. After greeting some teachers he knew or didn't know, he sat down at his desk and couldn't help being dazed. He will definitely not be able to prepare lessons, at most he will talk about the will of fire, political correctness is fine. But there is no computer in this world, so he can't play games and catch up with dramas. There is a TV, but it is a luxury, and the content is lacking, which is not interesting. Ninja World is so boring, food is lacking, and entertainment is also lacking. Sooner or later, I have to set up a scientific research company to update a genin world technology and improve the quality of life. But now, I have to find something to kill the incident. With it, I can review the past and learn the new. After complaining in the diary, Zhao Yuchen decided to sort out all the information he knew, such as the Hokage timeline, some important plots and major events, and some important or interesting characters, etc., can all be recorded in the diary. A good memory is not as good as a bad pen. If you forget it later, you can still remember it after reading it. This is a diary, not a memorandum, and it has to be a day-to-day record to make it feel better. A note to the east, and a note to the west, it will be troublesome for me to check it when the time comes. Then follow the timeline, let me think about where to start. Seeing this, the performances of the women are not the same. According to the known information, Hokage Ninja should be a story unfolding from the perspective of Uzumaki Naruto as the protagonist, and the timeline will not be very early. Women such as Uzumaki Kushina, Uchiha Makoto, Hinata, Ino, and Kuroyuki all showed anticipation. Through Naruto's past and future, they can know something related to themselves or people they value. But the women outside Konoha village took out pens and paper, intending to record useful information. After all, Mu Yili and the others are far away, so what happened should not be too involved. Well, there is. The girls looked forward. In ancient times, thousands of years ago, 2 aliens came to this planet to plant trees. Women. No, your family organizes the story timeline, starting from the unreachable ancient times? Also, the purpose of aliens traveling thousands of miles to this planet is actually to plant trees? Are you afraid that you know that we are peeking at the diary and deliberately teasing us? Outrageous, come on Nai. Kushina slapped his forehead. Thousands of years ago, the Uzumaki clan did not even exist. It's fine if Zhao Yuchen doesn't keep a good diary, but you organize the so-called timeline and plan to write a fairy tale? On the contrary, Otsutsuki Kagaya, who is sealed inside the moon and lives in the space of the first sphere, has the color of nostalgia in his eyes. Enough chakra and she will live forever, but thousands of years is a bit long. This self-proclaimed traveler really knows everything? These 2 aliens have the surname Otsutsuki and the first names Kagaya and Ichishiki. I really know. Kaguya's face remained unchanged. The tree they planted is a sacred tree, and there is another name, 10 Tails. 10 Tails? Many women immediately thought of the 9-tailed beasts controlled by the hidden villages. Does 1 tail to 9 tails have any special relationship with 10 tails? This Otsutsuki family is very strange. They plant trees in groups of 2, among which the low status is the guardian, and the high status is the guardian. 10 tails who are still planting seedlings of the sacred tree need to sacrifice a Otsutsuki, and this is usually done by the guardian of low status. The guardian is responsible for guarding the sacred tree until it blooms and bears fruit. Normal? The girls grasped the key point. So, there are special circumstances? Otsutsuki Kagaya and Otsutsuki are the same style. The former is a low-status guardian, but he is unwilling to be sacrificed, so he sneaks up on the ladder at the critical moment when he is about to be sacrificed, causing the unsuspecting ladder to be seriously injured and dying, and becomes a sacrifice. Later, Otsutsuki Kagaya gained powerful power by devouring the fruit of the sacred tree, and used it to pacify the troubled times, unify the world, and bring peace to the world. Seeing this, the hearts of all the women trembled. The word peace touched their hearts. For example, Tsunade, who has witnessed and experienced 3 ninja world wars, murmured subconsciously, "Squeeze the chaotic world with absolute strength and bring peace." Grandpa and Madara could have done it, but Grandpa. So the correct one was Uchiha Madara? If Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama will pacify the ninja world, their descendants will not want to fight, and Nawaki will not die. Tsunade fell silent for a moment. Meanwhile, the land of rain. Konan, who was flipping through the diary alone, murmured subconsciously, "Peace." Goddess Izuki. Otsutsuki Kagaya. Black Zetsu sneaking up underground. How could Baihu know his mother's name? Did you hear what Baihu said just now? Black Zetsu turned his head to look at White Zetsu's body with gloomy eyes. White Tiger is Konan's codename in Akatsuki. Peace. Izuki Goddess, Otsutsuki. Kagaya. White Zetsu repeated solemnly. It doesn't seem to be an auditory hallucination. Black Zetsu said in a cold voice with murderous intent in his eyes, "The 2 of us are together, and no one can cast illusions on us." So, Baihu got his mother's name and even information from somewhere. Then she might know the truth about Geto statue and infinite Tsukuyomi. She can't stay any longer. At this moment, Black Zetsu was extremely grateful for his luck. Rain Shinobi Village is covered by Pain's Rain Tiger Freedom Technique. There is nothing in the village that can hide from him Rinnegan. Even if he is Black Zetsu, he cannot place White Zetsu in Rain Shinobi Village to collect information secretly. Today he came to report the tail beast information, so he entered openly. On the way, he found that Konan, who had been guarding Nagato's body all the time, was actually acting alone, and followed him secretly out of curiosity. I didn't expect to hear such important news. No matter where Konan knew about Otsutsuki Kagaya, he couldn't keep it. Otherwise, the truth of infinite Tsukuyomi will be exposed, and he will lie dormant again to make arrangements. But Otsutsuki's family may come at any time, and the time left for him is running out. Calm down. White Zetsu reassured. He knew that Black Zetsu was a mother accuser, but he didn't expect him to be so crazy. This is Rain Shinobi Village, Pen's stronghold. If Black Zetsu dared to attack Konan, he would definitely be killed by Nagato. Don't worry, I'm not stupid. Black Zetsu restrained his killing intent and said indifferently, the white tiger must die, but we need to lead her out of Rain Shinobi Village first. Before killing her, it's best to ask her where she knew her mother's name, and what else she knows. As an old bastard who has survived for thousands of years, Black Zetsu's greatest ability is to be able to endure. It takes a lot of planning. The white tiger never seems to leave Nagato's side. White Zetsu found it nerve-wracking, it was a chore. In this way, Nagato's idea is correct. Konan shut his mouth, thinking, let the world feel the pain. Collect tailed beasts and deter all countries into one whole. Only in the ninja world can there be peace. Konan felt an unprecedented encouragement in his heart, and his eyes were full of anticipation when he read the diary. She wants to know more details, maybe she can learn from it. Otsutsuki Kagaya is the ancestor of chakra. Chakra already existed in this world, but humans could not use it until the sacred tree devoured chakra and gave birth to fruit, which was swallowed by Kagaya. Otsutsuki Kagaya, who brings peace, accepts the blessings of the people, and combines the power of the sacred tree to create twins, named Otsutsuki Yuya and Otsutsuki Hamura. Among them, Otsutsuki Yuya is the sage of 6 paths that was later extolled by the entire ninja world. It scattered chakra all over the world, obtained it in different ways, and created ninja and genin techniques. He is the ancestor of ninjas. Otsutsuki Yuya had 2 sons named Otsutsuki Indra and Otsutsuki Ashura. Indra is the ancestor of the Uchiha clan, Ashura is the ancestor of the Senju and Uzumaki clan. By the way, Otsutsuki Hamura is the ancestor of the Hyuga clan. Sage of 6 paths hopes that chakra will become the link to peace for mankind. The ninjas who can gain power are for profit, but it leads to the emergence of Sengoku in troubled times. The ones who ended the troubled times and created the ninja village system are Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. Writing this, Zhao Yuchen decided to come to an end for now. With these contents, information about the origin of chakra, the origin of ninjutsu ninja, he will never forget it. But it was such a little information that shocked all the girls. Hinata-chan, I didn't expect that your Hyuga clan is descended from immortals and has the same ancestor as Senju, Uchiha, and Uzumaki, Ino said excitedly. If this news gets out, the entire ninja world will be devastated and shocked. Me, I didn't expect that either. Hinata expressed disbelief. If it weren't for Zhao Yuchen, who would have thought that Hyuga and Uchiha, the 2 ninjas who have been competing for the title of the strongest pupil family, have the same ancestor. Master Tsunade. Shizune looked proud. Tsunade is a common descendant of the Senju and Uzumaki clans, a descendant of the proper immortal. What's there to get excited about? Tsunade glanced at Shizune flatly, and said sarcastically, if this news spreads in the ninja world, several families will become a joke. Shizune was taken aback for a moment, then suddenly realized. The Senju family has been fully integrated into Konoha, and it can be said that the family has been exterminated, and only Tsunade is left in the direct line. The Uchiha family also suffered genocide, and it is known that only Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke are left. The Uzumaki family was wiped out, and the surviving clans were scattered throughout the entire ninja world, hiding their names. Only the Hyuga clan is still there, but success is also a caged bird, and failure is also a caged bird. The interior has long been decayed and its development is limited. If it was the heyday, being exposed as a descendant of a fairy would add a layer of halo. But now, it will only make a few families a joke. What's the use of having a good background? It's not about to disappear into history. Conspiracy and calculation are more useful than strength. With a sneer, Tsunade continued to gamble. Shizune opened his mouth, speechless. The other woman who is reading the diary is mostly reading it as a story, and lamenting the impermanence of the world. At this time, they found that the content of the diary was updated again. As for Kagaya making white zetsu to resist Otsutsuki, Yuya Hamura was fooled by a toad to deal with Kagaya, Indra and Ashura's past life entanglement, etc. I will not write it for the time being. When I summarize the whole process of Black Zetsu saving his mother, I will record it in detail. Who would have thought that Otsutsuki Kagaya is still alive, right in the moon above his head? Speaking of which, Kagaya is also beautiful, and her seniority is high enough. If she catches up with her, wouldn't it be possible for Sage of Six Paths to call her father? Women. There's something wrong with you who keeps a diary, and you actually learn to trick you at key points to whet your appetite. Someone you don't want to do you have to be a broken dog? However, Kagaya is not dead yet, hasn't he lived for thousands of years? Still in the moon. Outrageous. If these words were not Zhao Yuchen's heartfelt words written in the diary, they could not be lies, and they would never believe them. At this moment, a voice sounded in the ears of all the girls at the same time. The owner of the diary mentioned more than 10 women in the diary, and mentioned a person's name more than 10 times in one day, and the official function of the diary copy was opened. Women. A diary is not just a diary, what other formal function does it have? The diary reward function is officially developed. 1. People whose names are mentioned more than 10 times in the diary every day can increase their chakra by 1%. Seeing these news, the eyes of Hinata Ino and other young women, are those who are not very strong, light up. 1% of your own chakra content may not sound like much, but it is not. Not to mention that after increasing 70 times in a row, they are equivalent to doubling the current amount of chakra. Usually, they are also working hard to practice, and the speed of increasing chakra will be faster, and they will ignore the upper limit of their own physical and spiritual energy qualifications. And 1% of the strong is not a lot. The request was only mentioned 10 times in Zhao Yuchen's diary, and it was like lying down and becoming stronger. Among them, Uzumaki Kushina responded the most. Increase the amount of chakra, 1% per day? Kushina has not forgotten his current situation. Although the soul is not in the Pure Land, but strangely appears in the sealed space. But when there is a problem with the seal in the future, her chakra is activated and consumed, and after seeing Naruto once in the spiritual space, she still has to return to the Pure Land. But if the amount of chakra can be increased, can you not use it up all at once, and meet him more times in Naruto's spiritual space, or even as many times as you want? It takes more than 10 times. How could Zhao Yuchen mention me as a dead person so often? Kushina was a little distressed. She wanted to find a way to contact Zhao Yuchen even more. Of course, not everyone cares about chakra's growth, and some people show disdain. For example, if you have 100 healings mark, you can usually extract a certain Tsunade concubine stored in chakra. It's just a 1% increase in chakra, what's the use? Tsunade expressed disdain for the reminder ringing in his ear, and shook the dice in his hand with a calm expression. To be mentioned by Zhao Yuchen more than 10 times, you have to go to the other party's presence frequently, and have an intersection with the other party's life. Otherwise, people may only mention it in passing because they think of something or someone. The diary is clearly encouraging dungeon owners to contact Zhao Yuchen. Tsunade said he didn't want to bother at all. But I'm rare. Shizune thought to himself. Serving with Tsunade for so many years, the two can be regarded as a master-student relationship. Tsunade has no secrets from her, and has taught her 100 healings mark and other means. It's a pity that she is limited by her qualifications, and the amount of chakra extracted from the development is still too small, and she has not been successful. If you can increase by 1% every day, you have a chance of success. Shizune wanted to go back to the village more and more. At this time, the voice continued to sound. 2. People whose names are mentioned more than 10 times in the diary every day, and who have read the diary today, will randomly select one person to receive a magic blessing. Since they didn't know what the magic blessing was, the girls didn't feel much about it. Moreover, random extraction requires prerequisites, which is very boring. 3. The person whose name is mentioned the most in the diary every day can get a random reward. The sound continued. At first hearing, the girls were not much moved. Because I don't know what this random reward is. But the next moment, all the women were no longer calm. Random rewards include but are not limited to blood succession boundary, various special ninjutsu secrets, tailed beast chakra, special constitution, designated resurrection, etc. Women. Crack. Tsunade directly crushed the cup that was shaking the dice in his hand, and suddenly turned his head to look at Shizune. Shizune, did you hear that? Her voice trembled. Master Tsunade, I heard you clearly. Shizune also said a little excitedly. Any blood successor limit, ninjutsu secretary, special constitution, even-tailed beast chakra, and designated resurrection are fine, not all of them. Resurrection. A different look gradually appeared in Tsunade's eyes. What blood succession limit? What ninjutsu secret art, tail beast chakra, etc., of course, are also very attractive and important. But all she cares about now is the designated resurrection. If I have this reward, can I revive Nawaki? Shizune, let's go. Tsunade got up and left. Go? Where are you going? Shizune was still immersed in the list of exaggerated rewards, and didn't have time to react. Of course Konoha. Shizune. Remember not long ago, Master Tsunade, didn't you just say that you would never return to Konoha if you were killed? This slap in the face came really fast. Pufu who is eating dim sum. Really fragrant. At the same time, on a mountain peak soaring into the clouds, filled with clouds and mist, and surrounded by deafening thunder. A mature female ninja with exquisite facial features, fair skin like snow, tall figure, exaggerated and beautiful curves, who perfectly interprets what sexiness is, suddenly opened her eyes and stopped meditating. Her face often had a calm expression, as if she was born with a cold expression, which turned into shock at this moment. Calm. Habitually uttering 2 words, the woman's blue-green eyes flickered, and she flicked her shoulder-length pale golden short hair and stood up. Arms folded to ease the burden of her 2 pets, she unleashes the body flicker technique and heads off. Not long after, she came to a meeting room, where a burly man was snarling at another. Bye. Next time you dare to hold a concert in front of my bedroom, I will lock you up. Right or wrong, another strong man pulled out his ears and left directly. The burly man was so angry that he was half dead, and immediately wanted to chase him. At this time, the iceberg beauty said, Master Raikage, I want to go to Konoha. 4th Raikage I moved, and said in a rough voice, Samui, what do you want to do in Konoha village? Investigate information on Konoha and Sand Shinobi in an open and honest manner. Samui said the reason he had prepared long ago. The Chunin exam is about to happen, and it is a good time to observe the strength of the younger generations of these 2 villages. Hearing this, 4th generation I nodded without the slightest hesitation and said, okay, I'll leave it to you to investigate Konoha. If Konoha hasn't recovered, 4th generation I's face showed a strong aggression. He shot with Killer Bee back then, but was suppressed by Namikaze Minato, and he was always aggrieved. But at that time, the 3 wars had lasted for too long, and the great names of the major powers were unwilling to continue the war. He could only lead his troops to retreat, and instead achieved the prestige of Namikaze Minato. After the death of Namikaze Minato, he wanted to start a war several times, but was rejected by the daimyo of the Land of Thunder. But now, Cloud Shinobi Village has accumulated for many years, and already has the strength to fight without relying on daimyo. As long as the first battle is won, the future will be promising. As one of 4th generation I's strategists, Samui knew what he was thinking just by looking at the former's expression. If it was normal, she would definitely say, calm down, out of habit. But also perform duties and make plans. But now, she is not optimistic about 4th generation I. The protagonist is Hokage. Calmness is not only Samui's mantra, but also her character. Even in a fierce battle, she can control her emotions and analyze information very objectively. After getting the copy of Zhao Yuchen's diary, exclusive to Samui, she determined that she was not under the illusion in a very short period of time, and then screened in the village to find the only 2 companions by Wooden Golem. The 2 are led by Wooden Golem as Erwei Jinchuriki, and is a perfect Jinchuriki, but he can't explain the existence of the diary to Erwei. This made Samui infinitely increase the importance of the diary, and began to analyze the information in it. She cares most about Hokage Ninja, and protagonist Uzumaki Naruto. Although everyone is the protagonist of their own life, different people have different influences on the world. For example, a farmer has been growing vegetables all his life, a small ninja village depends on the breadth of a big country, and the daimyo of the 5 big countries in the shadow of Kirigakure can make decisions that affect the entire ninja world. The anime is named Hokage, which not only shows that Uzumaki Naruto may become Hokage, but also shows that this Hokage will affect the entire ninja world to change, and Konoha is the center of the world, not only geographical location. So she began to think from the perspective of a think tank, and simulated Uzumaki Naruto's plans such as early assassination, early friendship, and instigating rebellion, and their impact. However, because there is still too little information, it is not clear what impact Uzumaki Naruto will have on the ninja world, what role Cloud Shinobi Village will play in it, whether it is the beneficiary or the loser, and how much the three options need to pay weight. She can't draw conclusions. Not to mention, now Konoha Village has Zhao Yuchen, a traveler variable. For this reason, she has long decided to go to Konoha Village to conduct targeted intelligence gathering. But before that, she plans to try to find the answer from Zhao Yuchen's diary. But after the diary was updated, the appearance of 3 reward mechanisms made her unable to sit still. The existence of Wooden Golem made her sure that she was not the only one who got the diary copy, and the reward mechanism of the diary was more obvious to make them copy owners compete to get close to Zhao Yuchen and earn existence. Take action one step earlier and enjoy the benefits one day earlier, otherwise it will only be slow and slow. After Zhao Yuchen traveled to this world, maybe the protagonist is no longer Uzumaki Naruto. He is the one who will bring about changes in the ninja world. Bring him back to Cloud Shinobi Village if you can. Otherwise, Konoha can only make friends. Samuel had new considerations, but he didn't tell his immediate boss, 4th Generation I. And me, I'm going to Konoha too. Suddenly, a figure deftly jumped into Reikage's office from the window and landed beside Samui. This man was tall and slender, with long, waist-length, rice-colored straight hair that was braided, exuding a special aura all over his body. Arrogant yet lazy, just like a cat. It is the two-tailed Jinchuriki, 2 by Wooden Golem. What are you going to do? 4th Generation I frowned. Although Cloud Shinobi has a good attitude towards Jinchuriki, both Wooden Golem and Killer Bee are loved by the villagers in the village. But nuclear weapons are nuclear weapons, so naturally they can't just go out casually, or go to another hidden village. If this is known, it is tantamount to declaring war. Although 4th Generation I is reckless, he is not stupid. Konoha has been able to be the boss for so many years, even if it is declining now, but the camel who died of illness is bigger than the horse. Without more than 70% certainty, it is impossible to start a war casually. Not to mention Iwagakure's stinky old Onogi is still alive. I'm responsible for protecting Samuel so that she won't be bullied by Konoha, said Wooden Golem proudly. It's ridiculous. Let me borrow Konoha's guts. They dare to attack our Cloud Shinobi Village emissary. 4th Generation I's voice was full of undisguised contempt. It's not that he is inflated or brainless, but he does have the capital of self-confidence. When Sanin left and 4th Hokage died in the Nine Tails Rebellion, their Cloud Shinobi sent envoys to Konoha to steal Baiyan Shueijiji. In the end, although the main members of the envoy group were killed by Hyuga Hiyashi, Hyuga Hazashi, who had the strength of elite Jonin, paid for his life when they were entangled by them. And 5 years ago, the Uchiha clan of Konoha's famous family was wiped out, which caused Konoha's strength to weaken by at least 30%, which was worse than when they went to steal Baiyan. Such Konohas are more than capable of protecting themselves, but they definitely dare not take the initiative to stroke their Cloud Shinobi tiger whiskers. I have a good relationship with Samui, and I want to act together with her. Wooden Golem was so tough that he didn't even bother to find an excuse. 4th Generation I was so angry that his veins bulged, and he clenched his fists. If Wooden Golem had been replaced by Killer Bee, he'd already hit someone. Master Wooden Golem, calm down. Samui knew what Wooden Golem thought, but knew better that Jinchuriki couldn't go out casually. See if this works. Samuel whispered in Wooden Golem's ear. It is nothing more than to ensure that after arriving in Konoha, Zhao Yuchen will mention Wooden Golem's name as much as possible. And after figuring out the situation in Konoha Village, it is safer to go by Wooden Golem. Also, after all, Wooden Golem is a person who sees the big picture. After pondering for a moment, she nodded and said, "Go and investigate Konoha's truth yourself. If it's not easy to chew, and the war can't be fought, you can send a letter back, and I will take the younger generation to take the Chunin exam." 4th Generation I Wenyan was so angry that he almost wanted to curse. He's the Reikage, okay. Meanwhile, the land of rain. Nagato. Konan came to the central tower of Rain Shinobi Village and found Pain's body, Uzumaki Nagato. Huh? Nagato raised his head slightly, and the purple Rinnegan shot out dazzling brilliance. I'm going out on my own, Konan said. Are you going out alone? Nagato looked puzzled. After Yahiko died, the two were the only people who trusted each other, and they tacitly guarded each other. Nagato never thought that Konan would go out alone. Yes. Nagato agreed straight away. The plan hasn't started yet, and Pain is by my side, no one can hurt me, but you are going out alone, so be careful. He didn't ask Konan what he was doing out there, they had absolute trust in each other. If possible, he would like to send a Pain to guard Konan. It's a pity that the farther the distance is, the weaker Pain's strength is, and he can't even command. He could only tell Konan to be careful, rest assured. When I come back, maybe I can bring you some good news. A long-lost smile bloomed on his face, and wings made of white paper appeared behind Konan, and the whole person flew away, and soon disappeared into the sky. A look of astonishment appeared in Nagato's eyes. This is the first time Konan has smiled since Yahiko's death. Very good. Black Zetsu, who followed Konan, was pleasantly surprised. I'm going to contact Obito and get rid of the White Tiger immediately. White Zetsu, go find Obito, hurry up. Black Zetsu said to White Zetsu himself. Understood. White Zetsu's main body separated a clone and dived into the ground. At the same time, Water Country, Kirigakure, Mizukage office. A bald old man holding a cane and narrowing his eyes said, Terumi Mei, do you have any disagreement with this plan? Several Jonins at the scene turned their heads and looked at the left side in front of the conference table. One hand rested his chin. He had reddish-brown cross-length curly hair. His right eye was covered by the hair, and only the left green eye was exposed. He was wearing a blue tube-top dress, a mature woman with an exquisite figure. The woman looked at the empty table in front of her, as if in a daze. It was at the end of the Third Ninja World War that she discovered that Fourth Hokage was abnormal. She had 2 blood succession boundaries and was very likely to become the next Mizukage's Mist Shinobi Jonin, elite, Terumi Mei. Master Yuan's plan, the subordinates naturally have no objection. Terumi Mei looked away without a trace, smiled and said, the Lord of the 4th generation is controlled by an unknown Uchiha strongman, which has deepened my political impression of terror in the Blood Mist. Now that I know the reason, of course we must implement a policy of peace and openness, gradually changing the form of the village. It's just that Lord 4th generation can't live long. Once he dies, 3 tails will disappear with him. It will take several years to be resurrected somewhere in the ninja world. Without the 4th generation item, without the tailed beast, I, Kirigakure, are so weak. I heard that the Cloud Shinobi village in the due north has been developing well since World War E. Once the news gets out, I, Kirigakure, will not be in a good position. As soon as this remark came out, the expressions of Mist Shinobi executives or Jonin present all changed drastically. They are eager to change Kirigakure's external image, eager to redevelop and become peaceful, precisely because the power of the village has been too damaged. Only in peace can they have a chance to develop. But they are only separated by the sea from Cloud Shinobi village in the Land of Thunder, and Cloud Shinobi village is the most aggressive in the whole ninja world. If Kirigakure's falsehood is exposed, Cloud Shinobi village's habit will definitely start a war, at least forcing them to pay the price. You can see so far, Terumi Mei, you have also grown. The Yuenshi who is in charge of the power of Kirigakure first expressed admiration, and then asked, what's your idea? It is said that Cloud Shinobi village is a group of brawny men with brains full of muscles, but Kirigakure is not much different. Master Yuan is also very pleased to be able to produce a person with both strength and wisdom. 2 important points. Terumi Mei stretched out 2 onion orchid fingers, and said, first, continue to look for a suitable sealing technique, which can take out and transfer the 3 tails before the death of the Lord 4th generation, and prevent the 3 tails from disappearing. Second, find a reliable ally so that when we face Cloud Shinobi village, we won't be alone. 3 tails has been sealed 3 times in a short period of time. Anonymous, Lin, 4th Mizukage, already extremely weak, and completely connected with 4th Mizukage. If you dare to touch the seal, 4th Mizukage Yagura will die immediately, and 3 tails will also have to be buried with him. Otherwise, Mist Shinobi would have found a suitable Jinchuriki to replace Yagura. And after Yagura woke up, he lingered on his last breath to atone for Mist Shinobi, keeping 3 tails as much as possible. What do you think should be done? Master Yuan continued to ask. Terumi Mei spit out 2 words lightly, Konoha. Konoha? That's right, Konoha. Terumi Mei sorted out her words and said, although Master Mizukage's situation was caused by Sharingan, but now that the Uchiha clan is extinct, this hatred can be put aside for a while. Konoha's 4th Hokage couple died in the Nine Tails Rebellion, Sanin ran away, and the Uchiha clan was expelled. Facing the persecution of Cloud Shinobi village, Konoha even made the decision to let the head of the branch house of the Hyuga clan commit suicide, which shows his weakness. But 3rd Hokage is still there, Inoshika Cho, Inuzuka Aburame and other patriarchs are still there. Sannin left rather than died, not completely weak. That just gives us what it takes to form an alliance. Speaking of which, Terumi paused. After everyone digested the news, she continued. Konoha and Cloud Shinobi have a grudge, and third Hokage will not refuse to form an alliance with me, Kirigakure. If we give up the Thunder Country and Cloud Shinobi village in the north, I, Kirigakure, want to let go of development, and I can only find the Fire Country and Konoha village in the west. And Konoha village used to have a lot of relationship with the Uzumaki family, and the sealing technique is very strong. If you can take advantage of the opportunity of forming an alliance and asking for proper study, maybe you can find a way to successfully separate the three tails from the fourth generation. Make friends with Konoha, and kill many birds with one arrow. After calmly thinking about it, the people who were still a little bit critical at first found that there was no reason to refute. Master Yuan placed his old hands on the table, tapping rhythmically. After thinking for a while, he turned his head and looked to the side. What do you think, Master Fourth Generation? I feel fine. Yagura stepped out of the shadows, her baby face pale. This is the best choice for our mist shinobi. Master Yuan nodded upon hearing this, but still had concerns. But if you take the initiative to ask for an alliance, you will end up falling behind. Third generation is old, but the darkness of Konoha is still ambitious. Aligning with Konoha is fine, but it doesn't put Mist Shinobi at a disadvantage. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a grade worse than Sunagakure? Chunin exam. Terumi Mei suddenly spoke. Chunin exam and ninja school system, Anbu system, etc., all started by Konoha village's amazing talent. Water style played 6 more than any Mizukage, and then only Forbidden Technique's second Hokage Senju Tobirama was left. Ninja ranks are divided into Genin, Chunin, Special Jonin, and Shadows of each village. Jonin must have Jonin level strength, but Jonin strength may not be able to become Jonin. It is the power of each village shadow or leader to increase the ninja level. The Chunin exam can be regarded as a miniature war simulation of the major ninja villages. The performance of the younger generation of Genin can be used to see the potential and strength of the major ninja villages, so as to compare the names of the major countries and obtain more resource allocation. But after the end of World War III, Iwagakure, Cloud Shinobi Village and Kirigakure did not send people to hold and participate in the Chunin exam. Now only Sand Shinobi Village and Konoha Village bring some ninja villages to play together. However, invitation documents are still sent out every year, and Kirigakure just received them a few days ago. The next Chunin exam will be held in Konoha, and there are still 4 months left. This is indeed an opportunity. There was a light in Master Yuan's muddy old eyes. By taking the Chunin exam, we can also know the reality of Konoha and Sand Shinobi. If everyone is similar, it's just a good time to hold a group to make a fire. It's just who should be sent. Of course it's me. Terumi Mei did her part. Hearing this, everyone present showed strange expressions. Are you interested in the position of 5th Mizukage? Terumi Mei has always been the best candidate for 5th Mizukage in the hearts of everyone in Kirigakure. He is 28 years old this year, has participated in the 2nd Ninja World War and the 3rd Ninja World War, and has penultimate military exploits. Its Grandmaster Water Style Ninjutsu also has Lava Style and Boil Style, 2 kinds of blood inheritance limits, and its strength is unparalleled, far above ordinary elite Jonin. As the owner of the blood succession, she naturally does not treat the blood succession families in Kirigakure differently. It can be said that there is support from the blood succession families behind her. In the 3rd Ninja World War, it was also Terumi Mei who noticed that the 4th Mizukage was suspected to be controlled by illusion. After making Ching use the white eyes to confirm, she cast the illusion on the 4th Mizukage. She has made great contributions to Mist Shinobi. And Yuan Shi, who has always been in charge of the power of Kirigakure and has the same power as Mizukage, also favors Terumi Mei and agrees with his peaceful and open policy. Records, achievements, contacts, background, she is all number 1. This is the best 5th Mizukage heir without a doubt. But when Master Yuan and 4th Mizukage proposed this idea, they were rejected by him. As for the reason, everyone also understood that it was because the marriage partner of her family had died under the blood mist policy, which caused her to miss the wedding date and was still unmarried at the age of 28. And Terumi Mei hates marriage, and her goal in life is to be a good wife and mother. So she wants to change Mist Shinobi, but doesn't want to take power. But now, she took the initiative to ask to be the envoy of Konoha. In normal times, this is of course nothing, but if you want to be in charge of negotiating the alliance between Mist Shinobi and Konoha, you need someone with sufficient weight, such as Mizukage or an elder candidate. Because only the person in charge of Kirigakure in the future, the agreement signed by the representatives will have more weight. Don't think too much about it. I don't think about becoming Mizukage until I'm 30. Terumi Mei knew what everyone was thinking, and said with a smile, I just think that I can be sent to Konoha as a priority to investigate and see if it is a qualified alliance partner. During this period of time, you can also continue to implement the peace policy and elect a younger generation with decent strength and talent. If there is no problem, I will send a message back. Master Yuan can let Gaidong Mingyue take people to Konoha to take the Chunin exam, and discuss the matter of forming an alliance. Gaidong Mingyue is a descendant of 2nd Mizukage Gaidong Wanyue, Grandmaster Hydration Technique, and a disciple of 4th Mizukage Yugura. The worst will be Elder Kirigakure in the future, and he has the qualifications to become Mizukage. Terumi Mei is not interested in Mizukage at the moment. Before becoming a 30-year-old girl, she just wanted to find the right man to marry. If she can't get married, she will never marry for life and dedicate herself to Kirigakure. And now, whether out of curiosity or seeking a reward, she wants to go to Konoha to meet Zhao Yuchen. An interesting time traveler, perhaps as a marriage partner? Even if Zhao Yuchen doesn't meet her taste, but she knows the ninja world so well, she must know what good men are there. If you ask him to introduce one to yourself, wouldn't your greatest wish come true? So this Konoha, she must go. Also, you can bring a few people to Konoha first, which can also express our missed shinobi's discussion. Yuenshi and Yugura looked at each other and agreed with Terumi Mei's proposal. This is the best option right now. That night, Terumi Mei took the 2 Jonin on the road and took a boat to the mainland. All over the ninja world, there are many women who have diaries. And this is invisibly changing the general trend of the ninja world. For these, Zhao Yuchen does not know yet. After finishing the preliminary information collation, he encountered a big trouble. Boom. A big snake with the thickness of an arm suddenly flew in from the window and bit Zhao Yuchen's neck. But when the big snake's mouth was pushing hard, Zhao Yuchen suddenly disappeared with a bang, replaced by a huge piece of wood. This is body replacement technique. Who? The other teachers in the office reacted, took out the kunai one after another, and looked at the window vigilantly. The things here have nothing to do with you. A figure appeared on the window, the windbreaker fluttered, and the heroic figure appeared. When the teachers saw her, their expressions changed immediately. This person is none other than Mitarashi Anko, once one of Konoha Sanin, a disciple of Langjun Orochimaru. Since he studied under Orochimaru in his early years, he was regarded as the grandson of 3rd Hokage, but because of Orochimaru's betrayal of the village, he was cast aside for a period of time in the village, so Anko's temper can't be said to be good. He is one of the few people in Konoha village who are generally considered not to be messed with. Everyone subconsciously put away kunai so as not to be remembered by Anko. At this time, Zhao Yuchen came out from behind a desk, frowned and said, Mitarashi Chunin, why did you sneak up on me? Yesterday I was designated as a special Jonin by 3rd generation, Anko said coldly. A Jonin in particular is a Jonin, at least by title. So Mitarashi especially Jonin, why did you sneak up on me? Especially 2 words, Zhao Yuchen deliberately bit heavily. Anko said angrily, you guy, you are really annoying. Zhao Yuchen was speechless for a while. The two had never met before today. As for the reason for the sneak attack, of course I want to teach you a lesson. Anko raised his neck and said as a matter of course, who told you? Anko originally wanted to say, who told you that I will become a fat woman, you better give me a reason. But as soon as this thought came up, she felt an invisible thug grabbing her heart. As long as she dared to speak, her heart would be crushed. With a drop of cold sweat falling, she realized that she could not tell the diary to the outside world, nor could she tell Zhao Yuchen the contents of the diary directly. Who told me what? Zhao Yuchen asked in doubt. The appearance of Mitarashi Anko is simply inexplicable. Who made you so handsome? Mitarashi Anko said coldly. Although she couldn't question her, it didn't mean she couldn't attack Zhao Yuchen. Such a handsome man, he must be a big scumbag. I'll beat you up first, so that you won't go out and harm others. All the teachers present. Zhao Yuchen. Hiding in the dark Azuki Shiin, mist grass, I didn't expect to be so speechless. As a disciple of Orochimaru and a ninja, I can totally understand being a little nervous, but this Mitarashi Anko is simply crazy. Because I'm so handsome, you want to beat me up because I have the potential to be a scumbag, so you can't kill me when I give beautiful women a warm home? +1 outrageous experience. Zhao Yuchen habitually writes in the diary, or complains. Many women showed funny expressions. They knew that Mitarashi Anko beat people because of the word, fat woman, but they couldn't say it clearly. But the reason can be found so lamely, it is a bit ridiculous to be true. However, a few women became curious about Zhao Yuchen's appearance. Really so handsome? Whispering. Anko's pretty face flushed, and he shot again. The whole arm turned into many snakes, attacking Zhao Yuchen from multiple angles. Boom. The smoke rose, and Zhao Yuchen cast body replacement technique again to avoid it. But there was already a serious expression on his face. In the eyes of other teachers, he was tired of coping and afraid of being beaten. But in fact, he was thinking about how to make false claims with Sarutobi Hiruzen after exposing his strength. He can keep a low profile and be cautious, but he can't tolerate being beaten passively. Anko actually shot at him, no matter what the reason was, he had to teach him a lesson. Shua. A shuriken appeared in Zhao Yuchen's hand. He started seal, ready to come a wave of shuriken shadow clone. But at this moment, a figure appeared in the middle of the two and shouted arrogantly, "That's it. This person is wearing an animal mask, obviously Anbu under Hokage. Mitarashi Anko, please watch your behavior." Anbu walked up to Anko and winked. Anko didn't understand what he meant, but still took advantage of the slope to get off the donkey, snorted at Zhao Yuchen, turned around and wanted to leave. Tisk. There was a dangerous light in Zhao Yuchen's eyes. 2 cards are not much chakra, but it is definitely far more than Mitarashi Anko's chakra. Coupled with Shadow Clone and Flying Thunder God technique, he is not afraid of the opponent at all. But there are too many people at the moment, so there is no need to rush to find the place. But you can't do nothing. Mitarashi Special Jonin, wait a minute, Zhao Yuchen said. What? Do you want to fight me? Anko turned around and said, I only hit people in the face, even if you are handsome, I won't hold back. No, I just have something to say to you. Zhao Yuchen walked up to Anko with a smile. What? Say it quickly. Anko raised his eyebrows in a bad tone. The guy in front of him is handsome indeed, but he just can't speak. Send you a piece of advice. Zhao Yuchen leaned close to Anko's ear, patted her on the shoulder and said, snacks and sweets, otherwise you will get fat. Become a pig. Boom. The moment the word pig fell, a fist hit Zhao Yuchen's abdomen. But with a puff of smoke rising, it turned into a piece of wood again. Another body replacement technique. The teacher present couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He is indeed a man who has played the 3-body technique well, and even the special Jonin's attack can be dodged time and time again. Bastard, I'm going to beat you to death. Anko made mudras with his hands and wanted to perform ninjutsu. But that Anbu moved faster, reached out to stop her movement, and said coldly, Mitarashi Jonin, don't make things difficult for me. It means don't force her to make a move. Snort. Glaring somewhere angrily, Anko turned and jumped out of the window. Seeing this, Anbu followed closely. The two used the body flicker technique, and soon came to a high-rise rooftop. Shion. Why did you stop me from beating that guy? Anko turned around and asked. I want to ask you, why do you beat someone for no reason? Then Anbu took off his mask, revealing a delicate and beautiful face, which was Azuki Shion. She originally hid 100 meters away and observed Zhao Yuchen secretly. Not long ago, she saw Mitarashi Anko, a senior sister and best friend who was 2 years older, walk into the ninja school aggressively. She had a premonition that something was wrong, so she watched closely and happened to see the scene where Anko was attacking Zhao Yuchen. For no reason. Anko said angrily, it's that guy who can't talk. Can't talk? Azuki Shion pretended to be puzzled. What did he say about you? Anko immediately Kaido. He said I would become. When the words came to his lips, Anko suddenly became speechless. Because she realized that Zhao Yuchen's words were all written in that mysterious diary. And she couldn't show the diary to others, so she couldn't prove her statement. Wouldn't that make her frame someone for nothing? Become a fat woman? Azuki Shion said suddenly. How do you know? Anko's eyes widened suddenly. Because I have that too. Azuki Shion raised a hand. The copy of Zhao Yuchen's diary, exclusive to Maoyue Shion, immediately materialized. You too. Anko smiled excitedly. She thought she was that special person. Unexpectedly, there are also schoolgirls and girlfriends. Yeah. Azuki Shion nodded slightly, and then asked, when did you get this diary? Yesterday afternoon. Anko recalled. Then we should have gotten this diary at the same time. Really? Then you know why we got this diary? The specific reason is not yet known, but I guess it should be that we have some kind of special common identity. So, besides you and me, who else has this diary? According to my observation, Hyuga Hinata and Yamanaka Ino also have it, and I guess Yuhihong also has it. Read? Speaking of her, I didn't expect her to end up with Sarutobi Asuma. Don't talk about things that haven't happened yet. Azuki Shion shook her head and said, based on what I know about Hong, if she also has a diary, after seeing the contents on it, she will definitely not let it happen again. Anko nodded in agreement. Yuhihong looks very gentle, but in fact she is soft on the outside and strong on the inside. Knowing that he is being calculated and preconceived, he will never follow Sarutobi Hiruzen's will. But since you have a diary, do you still think I shouldn't beat that blunt guy? Anko put on an angry expression again. Should it be? Mao Yu Xian asked back. Did he say that you are now a fat woman, or is he going to turn you into a fat woman? He just knows the future. He saw your fat woman's appearance, and said something casually. Not only should you not beat her, but you should also have a good relationship with him. Hearing this, Anko asked subconsciously, why? Why? Of course it's because they can keep you from becoming a fat woman. Mao Yue Xian shook her head and said, people have seen you become a fat woman. Maybe they know the reason why you will become a fat woman, and if you can know the reason in advance, can you avoid it? Hearing this, Mitarashi Anko's expression froze. After thinking about it seriously, she found that Azuki Shion was right. It's not that Zhao Yuchen turned her into a fat woman. The other party just knew that she had this future, so he casually wrote it down in his diary. Instead, she was on the line. Then, what should we do now? Anko showed a regretful and nervous expression. The reason for the inexplicable sneak attack and the beating is still so far-fetched. If she were Zhao Yuchen, she would definitely not have a good face. So how does she know why she is gaining weight and how to avoid it? Azuki Shion sighed. She knew that Anko had always acted impulsively. Some experiences Orochimaru suffered after rebelling against the village made her very sensitive and irritable. I didn't expect to be so impulsive. Think of a plausible reason to explain, and then apologize. That's the only way I can think of. Azuki Shion gave her own advice. Seeing Anko showing a hesitant expression, she said seriously, of course, if you can't hold back your face, you can also choose to continue to provoke Zhao Yuchen. Maybe when he complains in the diary, he will tell you the reason why you became a fat woman. But I want to give you a piece of advice. This Zhao Yuchen is a time traveler. You will never know how many cards he has. There is only harm in fighting him. And this diary is very mysterious, and the 3 reward mechanisms are also very attractive. Although I don't know the reason why we can get the copy, it must have something to do with Zhao Yuchen. If you turn against him, you might lose your diary. That's all for now. How to do it, you can measure it yourself. Measure. Where do you need to measure? I'm not stupid. Anko approached Azuki Shion, put on a smiling face and said, Shion, help me to the end, help me think of the reason, and how to apologize. Azuki Shion smiled helplessly, and then said, before that, please show me a copy of your diary. What do you do with a diary? Don't you also have one? Anko wondered. But she didn't move slowly, and with a thought, she summoned her own copy of the diary. I want to see if the contents of the diary we saw are the same. Or for different people, the diary will present different content. Azuki Shion opened her diary and signaled Anko to follow suit. Open the 2 diaries, and at a glance, you can find that the contents are exactly the same. At this time, a voice rang in the ears of the 2. It is detected that there are other copies of the diary within 1 meter. Do you want to enable the friend-making function and add the other party as a friend? Azuki Shion and Anko subconsciously looked at each other. Then the 2 nodded tacitly. Yes. The friend-making function is turned on. Send a friend request. You received a friend application from Mitarashi Anko, did you pass it? The 2 women immediately chose yes again. The next moment, the 2 women saw that the copy of the diary automatically turned to the last page. Their own names are written in the upper left corner of the page, with an exclusive avatar, and the friend column is the other party's name and avatar. They can click on the avatar with their hands, or they can click with their thoughts. After clicking on it, you will enter a dialog box, and you can also write text on it with your thoughts. Azuki Shion. Hello, Anko. Mitarashi Anko. Shion is so beautiful. The 2 girls tried it with great interest. After some experiments, they figured out how to use this dating function. In fact, it is a real-time cross-distance communication tool, which is somewhat similar to radio. However, this diary communication has three modes: message, telephone, and video. Messaging is sending text to chat, phone is talking and chatting, and video is chatting while still seeing the other party's situation. All three methods need to consume chakra. The farther the distance, the more chakra it takes to communicate. The distance is the same, the transmission content is the same, the consumption of video on chakra is greater than that of phone calls, and greater than that of information. Azuki Shion is a Jonin, and Mitarashi Anko is a special Jonin, and both of them have quite a few chakras. Controlled within a range of 100 meters, the phone mode can chat for a day. The transmission of information depends on the amount of text. Very funny. It's also useful. Azuki Shion's eyes brightened and said, "In the future, we can use this to chat and even send messages. Even if you go out to perform a mission, you can still contact the other party and even pass on the information. The timeliness will be terrible if it is used in war." Azuki Shion's heart was shocked. During the Third Ninja World War, 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato was Konoha's biggest hero. In addition to the terrifying record, he also benefited from the Flying Thunder God technique that can help him quickly switch battlefields and quickly deliver news and intelligence. Now, Shion and Anko can do something similar. It's amazing. Anko sighed. "Shion, you're right, I have to apologize to Yuchen. Such an interesting thing cannot be taken back." Azuki Shion. As long as you know, it is not only Azuki Shion and Mitarashi Anko who find that the functions are handed over. In fact, Hyuga Hinata and Yamanaka Ino discovered it earlier than them. However, the two women did not study so much, and they only used this function as a channel for whispering for the time being. Yamanaka Ino. "Hinata, get out of class is almost over, are you ready?" Hyuga Hinata. Yamanaka Ino. "Remember, we rushed as soon as the bell rang. I was afraid that teacher Yuchen would go out to buy food." Hyuga Hinata. Good. Ding, the get out of class bell rang. Good. Iruka clapped his hands, ready to announce get out of class dismissal. Rush. Yamanaka Ino suddenly pulled Hinata to stand up and rushed towards the classroom door. Boom. After the two girls disappeared in front of the classroom door, Iruka came back to his senses, and the corner of his mouth twitched. If it was Naruto doing this, he would definitely shoot. But Ino and Hinata's results are the top few in the class. So, is his class just that hard? Shua. Haruno Sakura, who was first in the theory test, also rushed out of the classroom. Get out of class has ended. Naruto stood up, picked up the review and said, "Mr. Yuchen, I'll do it." Another person rushed out of the classroom. Iruka. Tired. Destroy it. It's finally time. Let's eat Ichiraku ramen for lunch. Hearing the bell ringing for the end of get out of class, Zhao Yuchen, who spent the whole morning fishing, slowly stood up from his chair. Possessing perception skills, he actually recognized Azuki Yuyan, guessing that she was probably sent by Hokage to spy on him. That's why Azuki Shion took Mitarashi Anko away, and he didn't say anything to stop him. He just took the opportunity to provoke Anko and secretly left the mark of Flying Thunder God, preparing to find time to take revenge later. His mind is not big at all, even for beautiful women. After that, he began to think about cultivation. Although there is a diary, you can get ninjutsu by writing in the diary every day, but you can use shadow clone to practice. He thinks he can try to learn simple ninjutsu, so as to enrich the means of fighting the enemy. This time, half a day passed in the morning. Cooking man, cooking soul, he is going to cook now. Opening the office door, Zhao Yuchen froze for a moment. In front of him were Hyuga Hinata and Yamanaka Ino, slightly short of breath and ruddy. The two were holding hands, with two bento boxes in the other hand, and Ino was about to knock on the door. "Who are you two looking for?" Zhao Yuchen had a gentle smile on his face. But he was very surprised. Shouldn't Ino have fallen in love with Haruno Sakura? Why does it look like you have a good relationship with Hinata? Strange. "Teacher Yuchen, we are looking for you," Ino said immediately. "Looking for me?" Zhao Yuchen became more and more surprised, and asked back with a little teasing, "Are you going to confess to me?" As he spoke, he deliberately blinked at the two women. This is not considered as molesting the students by the teacher. He has indeed received several love letters from the students, they are the ones who took the initiative. And he doesn't plan to do this job for long, he is only 18 years old, and he is still a time traveler. Well, Hinata's little face turned red. She is not too nervous to be herself because she likes Zhao Yuchen. But as soon as Zhao Yuchen looked at each other, she would think of what he wrote in his diary. Hinata's wife. combined with Zhao Yuchen's charm, how can she not be shy? Boom. The dizzy Hinata was about to fall, but at the critical moment Ino reached out to support her. Yamanaka Ino. Help, Hinata, why are you fainting again? Yamanaka Ino. Hold on, otherwise your small mind will be too obvious. Yamanaka Ino. Girls can be shy, but they can't pass out, otherwise what will happen on the wedding night? New, wedding night. Hearing what Ino sent through the diary, Hinata originally wanted to persist. But hearing the words, wedding night, at the end made her fantasize for a while. Meeting Zhao Yuchen's eyes again, she straightened her neck. Ino. Zhao Yuchen. How could Naruto's treatment be transferred to me? Sharon and Sasuke proved that Hinata is not the type who will faint when he sees a handsome guy. Really, strange. Teacher Yuchen, why are you still watching? Please help. Ino held Hinata in one hand and urged. Ah. Zhao Yuchen squatted down slightly, put his hands through Hinata's neck in the back of his knees, and hugged him into his arms. This was what Ino asked for, not because he was trying to take advantage of others. So, what do you want me to do? Zhao Yuchen asked. It's inconvenient to say it here, Mr. Yuchen, come with me. Glancing into the teacher's office, Ino flicked his braids and headed for the next stairs. Zhao Yuchen held Hinata in his arms and raised his heels. When the three of them stepped up the steps, a smear of pink appeared at the corner at the end of the corridor. Ino and Hinata, what the hell is going on? Could it be that Ino doesn't like Sasuke and decides to pursue Teacher Yuchen, and Hinata as an advisor? A lot of questions lingered in Haruno Sakura's mind until Naruto's voice came from behind him. Little Sakura, what are you doing here? Haruno Sakura turned her head and saw Naruto, who was holding a review book with a smirk on her face. Her eyes lit up and she asked, what are you here for? I'm here to hand in the review letter to Teacher Yuchen. Naruto said without reservation. I tell you, as long as you write a guarantee letter, Teacher Yuchen promises to teach me clone technique. Haruno Sakura didn't care about this, but said, Ms. Yuchen is not in the office, you come with me. Follow you. Where are you going? Just come. Haruno Sakura urged. She is not stalking, but helping her classmates find a teacher. Can we talk now? On the roof of the teaching building, Zhao Yuchen put Hinata on Ino's tablecloth and asked. Ino didn't rush to answer, but shook Hinata awake, and then said, Teacher, we actually want to bribe you. Bribe? It's the 3,000-word composition. Ino said with a smile, Hinata and I don't want to write it. You see, we treat you to a bento lunch. Can you accommodate me? Oh. Zhao Yuchen's lips curled slightly. Ino, I don't believe you didn't see that teacher. I was just joking. I can see it. It's okay for Hinata to be honest and insist on writing. Ino sighed, pretending to be helpless. Bye. It's homework assigned by the teacher after all. Hinata whispered, playing with her fingers. Seeing this, Zhao Yuchen said that he believed. What a ghost. Hinata was honest, so how could she think of bribery? These two women have problems. Interesting, really interesting. Hinata's wife and Ino's wife don't seem to be exactly what I know, and many things are beyond my expectations. This is indeed a real world. Real people are flesh and blood, unlike TV drama characters who always maintain a certain personality, and the development of the plot is also different. Solidified. I decided to give them a bribe to buy me lunch and see what they really wanted to do. As soon as this information came out, the expressions of the girls holding the diaries suddenly changed. Zhao Yuchen thinks it is true, but they care about variables. Not surprisingly, Hyuga Hinata and Yamanaka Ino have diaries as well. So, are they starting to take the initiative? Things get interesting. Shien, this Yuchen is really not a good person. Mitarashi Anko muttered to Azuki Shien. The two were on their way to the mansion of the Kurama clan, and they were going to ask Yuhihong to verify their guess. How did you see that? His name is Hyuga Hinata and Yamanaka Ino wife. For him, we are anime characters, just like when we watch TV dramas, don't you just call him husband when you see a handsome actor? That's different, he has admitted it is reality. It's probably a casual one. Even if it's not, isn't it normal for a man to want several wives? Those nobles don't have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Why don't you scold me? Anko was at a loss for words, and then he said a little annoyed, why do you keep talking for that scumbag? Did you fall in love with him? I remember that you were not a face control either. Azuki Shien stopped and said seriously, I don't know in the future, but at least for now, I have no idea about Yuchen. I said so much, not to speak for Yuchen, but to hope that you will change your attitude. Don't be hostile to Yuchen because of insignificant things, otherwise you will only suffer. Even if he is bothered, it's his business. If you don't have any ideas about him, you don't need to care about it. If you have some thoughts about him, knowing the situation in advance means that you don't intend to care. After speaking, Azuki Shion continued to move forward. Anko was stunned, and then sighed. As expected of a sober Azuki Shion in the world, you can see it so thoroughly. At the same time, Zhao Yuchen sat down on the tablecloth and said with a smile, "It happens that I didn't prepare a lunchbox, so I will accept your bribe." Hearing this, Ino and Hinata looked at each other and almost couldn't help laughing. They were still a little nervous at first, but Zhao Yuchen made a wonderful contribution in the diary, which made them feel at ease. "No matter how smart you are, you would never have guessed that we already knew that you didn't have lunch, so we specially prepared an extra copy to get close, so as to get side-by-side information from the mouth of you, a time traveler." However, Teacher Yuchen was really not a serious person, and actually called them his wife to them. Looking at Yuchen's handsome face from a close distance, the cheeks of the two women turned slightly red. "Then let's go." Ino gestured to Hinata to open the bento box together. There are 4 in total, and the dishes are very rich, and each one is full. Zhao Yuchen took a serious look and couldn't help showing a strange expression. Ino noticed this detail and took a few more glances at the bento box. Immediately afterwards, she was dumbfounded. She didn't notice it just now, but now she noticed that the amount of food in Hinata's bento box is more than the sum of her two. Although Hinata is from the Hyuga family who practice gentle fist, but such a petite person, it is estimated that he can eat a box of appetite. So how to explain the extra box? Teacher Yuchen must have noticed something was wrong. Yamanaka Ino. Hinata sauce, it's over, it's over. Yamanaka Ino. I like to eat tomato pudding with pork belly. I prepared this for myself, but I prepared sushi for Mr. Yuchen, and he certainly couldn't see the problem. Yamanaka Ino. But with your 2 large portions, he will definitely suspect that you brought them specially and cannot explain clearly. Yamanaka Ino. What to do? Why don't you sacrifice your image as a lady and say that you are a big eater? Hinata didn't answer, but her fair and pretty face began to turn red visibly with the naked eye. In fact, there is no need to pretend about the big stomach king. Today I am destined to be exposed. Hyuga Hinata. Ino-chan, don't worry, there's no need to pretend at all. Zhao Yuchen knew her true appetite, so there was no need to hide it from Ino. Yamanaka Ino. Huh? What's the meaning? Hyuga Hinata. Check in, there may be deviations in other things, but Hinata's wife's iron stomach can't be fake. In other words, if you want to grab someone's heart, you have to grab someone's stomach first. Using Chinese cuisine to deal with Hinata's wife, won't it be 1 in minutes? Zhao Yuchen used the diary shooting function to take photos of the bento in front of him. Memorable, isn't it? Ino was dumbfounded. Zhao Yuchen didn't doubt the weight of the bento, but took it for granted. Is this normal? But after looking back at Hinata's words, Ino suddenly realized. Hiss. Ino expressed shock and broke. Hinata is so petite. How can it eat so much? Hinata is worthy of being of the Hyuga family. He usually spends a lot of time training gentle fist. Zhao Yuchen thoughtfully found a step for Hinata, and then said, I don't have a big appetite, just eat something. I remember that Hinata's wife was able to eat 46 bowls of ramen when she was an adult, and she beat the Akamichi family to become the champion of the big appetite competition, and she was able to handle it with ease. Maybe not that strong now, but the bento in front of her is definitely not enough for her alone. I'm eating less now, and I'll sneak out to buy food later. Zhao Yuchen looked at Hinata expectantly. It is said that beauty is delicious. Hinata is not only beautiful, but also has the ability to do food and broadcast. It's a pity not to watch it live. Hiss. The women holding copies of the diary gasped in unison. 46 bowls of ramen can beat the Akamichi family, who are famous in the ninja world, and they can handle it with ease. Outrageous. Well, Hinata, who was still holding on, saw these messages and fainted gorgeously again. Ino. What's the situation? Zhao Yuchen was a little puzzled. Hinata gets dizzy too easily. At this time, a voice suddenly came from the side. Wow, Teacher Yuchen, you actually came here to eat something delicious secretly. Zhao Yuchen turned his head and found that it was Naruto and Haruno Sakura, who had just walked out of the rooftop door. The former swallowed his saliva in disappointment. In his eyes, he couldn't buy the delicious food even if he had money. Have to. Zhao Yuchen felt that this lunch should be forgotten by him. If Hinata's wife can eat enough, so can he himself. Then let's eat barbecue. Zhao Yuchen quickly formed seals with both hands. Cho Shu Chen Zi Shu Hai Si Yin. Shadow clone technique. Boom. A shadow clone appeared. Zhao Yuchen threw out his wallet and said, "Go and buy some barbecue." Learn. Shadow clone nodded slightly, cast body flicker technique and left. Seeing this, Ino didn't respond. Haruno Sakura's eyes widened. Naruto also looked away from the food and said in surprise, the clone is alive." Zhao Yuchen. "As expected of you. What's alive? This is Shadow Clone." Haruno Sakura corrected Naruto. Shadow Clone is a B-level ninjutsu invented by second Hokage Senju Tobirama. It can use chakra to create physical clones. The principle is to evenly distribute the body chakra. The clones have the awareness of the caster's body and a certain degree of defense. When Shadow Clone is released, part of the clone's memory will return to the main body. It is an advanced clone technique suitable for spying. It is worthy of being a super academic who can make Chunin exam questions by himself. Obviously Ninja School does not teach Shadow Clone, but Haruno Sakura has learned about the concept of Shadow Clone during self-study in the library, and can accurately repeat it. But for Naruto, these concepts are just playing the piano. He didn't understand much, only heard a few key words, Hokage creation, and advanced clone technique. It's amazing. Naruto looked at Zhao Yuchen eagerly. "Mr. Yuchen, I want to learn this." "Naruto, you are so rude." Before Zhao Yuchen could answer, Haruno Sakura spoke first. "This is B-level ninjutsu. If you don't have a teacher, you need a lot of merit or borrowing fees to learn it. How can you let teacher Yuchen pay you for nothing? And you don't even know the clone technique. How can you learn the more advanced shadow clone technique? Then who knows, maybe I can learn it." Naruto was very confident. Haruno Sakura, who originally only wanted to persuade her, suddenly became impatient, and her second personality said, "If you can learn it, I'll give you chestnuts with this forehead." Zhao Yuchen. "Hey, brother Sakura is really awesome, but there is no need for it." Cough. Zhao Yuchen interrupted, "Naruto, bring me the review." Oh, Naruto, who originally wanted to get serious with Haruno Sakura, shut up obediently and handed in the self-criticism. The words are ugly and the sentences are average, but the attitude is quite sincere. "You pass." Zhao Yuchen folded the review book and put it in his pocket. This is the dark history of the future 7th Hokage, hidden and sold for a good price later. Great. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief, and then asked expectantly, "Hey, teacher, can you teach me how to successfully use the clone technique now?" He has listened to what little Sakura said in his heart, so he wants to master the clone technique first, and then learn the shadow clone technique. For some reason, he felt that this technique was very powerful and would match him very well. This is it. Zhao Yuchen didn't agree immediately, but looked towards the rooftop and said, "Let's have lunch first. Teacher treats you." At the same time, Satomi Choshanjuang. This is a manor built by the Anma family on the peak of the mountain behind the village for summer vacation. Azuki Shion and Mitarashi Anko came here and watched Yuhihong arguing with a beautiful girl in a wheelchair in front of a cliff from a distance. They wanted to enter the villa, but were stopped by several Konoha Jonins. "If you want to enter here, you need a letter of authorization from Lord Hokage," the leader said. Azuki Yuyon and Mitarashi Anko could only wait outside the door. "Teacher Hong, you have also seen that this old monkey is very hypocritical. For rights, for your own children, he even wants to dictate your future destiny. Do you still want to speak for him?" The girl in the wheelchair questioned her with cold words. Yu Hahong showed a helpless expression, and persuaded, "Yakumo, even though third generation is very hypocritical, it doesn't mean that he sent someone to assassinate your parents. Kurenai Yuhi knows Kurama Yakumo's ability, and even Sarutobi Hiruzen cannot know the situation in Satomi Akiyama Villa, so he has no worries about speaking. Yuhi Hong, I still call you teacher now. You know that hypocritical old monkey wants to plot against you. Do you still want to do things for him?" Kurama Yakumo became emotional, his chest heaving continuously. She never told anyone that she happened to overhear Sarutobi Hiruzen assigning a secret mission to Yuhihong, and when she found out that she couldn't control her, she immediately got rid of her. Because of this, she thinks that Sarutobi Hiruzen killed her parents who died when she was 7 years old. From Senju to Uchiha, the Kurama family is no exception. If she hadn't read Yu Hihong's tragic fate in her diary, she would never have paid attention to this running dog, who killed her father and mother and enemy third Hokage. Yu Hahong didn't know how to persuade her for a while. Kurama Yakumo eavesdropped on the incident she and Sarutobi Hiruzen had discovered afterwards. In fact, Sarutobi Hiruzen took pity on her talents and asked her to kill not Kurama Yakumo, but the monster Ito inside Kurama Yakumo. It was a hideous monster with 2 long horns on its head, and it could spew poisonous gas and flames from its mouth. It was a demon created by Yakumo's deep consciousness, and it was completely brewed after he accidentally burned his parents to death. If this truth is told to Yakumo, she will definitely commit suicide due to the blow, or turn into a monster. So she kept hiding it, trying to persuade Yakumo to let go and get rid of Ito in a gentle and persuasive way. But the result is that Yakumo's prejudice against her is getting bigger and bigger, and he doesn't even want to recognize her as a teacher. Until today, she came to visit Yakumo as usual, but he suddenly took the initiative to talk to her. When she saw the copy of the diary on Kurama Yakumo's lap, she immediately figured everything out. Apparently, Yakumo became more and more determined in his opinion, and in turn tried to instigate her against her. What do you call this? But third Hokage is not something you and I can deal with. And I need to confirm whether the contents of this diary are true or not. Yuhihong decided to stabilize Kurama Yakumo first to prevent her from acting aggressively. As for the authenticity of the diary, she actually believed it 80% in her heart. I see. Seeing Kurenai Yuhi backing down, Kurama Yakumo showed a long-lost smile on his sickly pale face, and said, "For the time being, I won't do anything to kill myself. But I hope, Teacher Hong, you can do one thing for me." "What's the matter?" Yuhihong asked. "I want to see him." He. Zhao Yuchen. When he said this name, a sickly blush appeared on Kurama Yakumo's face. Yuhihong frowned subconsciously, but then felt that this matter could be done. There is a saying that to untie the bell, one must tie the bell. Yakumo became more and more stubborn because of the contents of the diary. Then Zhao Yuchen, the initiator, should shoulder the responsibility of solving it. As a time traveler, maybe he knows how to solve Yakumo's problem. If he sees Yakumo and writes the solution in his diary, that would be a way. Thinking of this, Shi Hahong nodded and agreed, but still asked, "What do you want to do when you see him?" "Do it? My body may not be able to bear it." Yakumo glanced at his legs with some disgust. Evening read. "What are you talking about? I can't even walk. I can't do that. I hope he doesn't hate me for it." Kurama Yakumo changed from his previous lifeless expression, and complex emotions such as uneasy, expectation, and shyness appeared on his face. Yuhihong looked dumbfounded directly, wondering if Yakumo's illusion had improved again, and really used her as an experiment. But after secretly untying the seal several times, she was sure that she hadn't been tricked. So everything is true? I should send less love letters to this child. She seems to have a love brain. Yuhihong was ashamed secretly, and said, "Yakumo, I'm asking why you want to meet Zhao Yuchen, and what do you want to talk about after seeing him?" Talking about this word, Yuhihong especially increased the volume. Kurama Yakumo immediately realized that he had made a mistake. But she was not shy, instead she said generously, "Of course I asked him if he would like to marry me." "No, he is definitely willing to marry me. After all, he is the man sent to me by God. As long as he is willing, I will give the entire Pommel horse family as a dowry." Evening read. There is no doubt that she must have been under the illusion. Otherwise, how could Kurama Yakumo say such a mindless thing? But seeing the sick flush on Kurama Yakumo Jumi's face and the strong emotion in her eyes, she realized that things were not simple. What's the matter? In fact, Kurenai Yuhi didn't think about this matter from the perspective of Kurama Yakumo. The Kurama family is one of the Konoha giants, specializing in illusion, and dared to challenge Uchiha at its peak. As the daughter of the patriarch, Kurama Yakumo also awakened the blood successor limit boundary that can make illusions real, so she was naturally loved by thousands of people throughout her life. But when she was 6 years old, her parents were burned to death, and she was also placed under house arrest in this manner outside the village to live alone. Regardless of the facts, at least in Kurama Yakumo's heart, all of this is thanks to Sarutobi Hiruzen. So she hated Sarutobi Hiruzen in her heart and thought he deserved to die. But Sarutobi Hiruzen is Hokage, who possesses Konoha's highest power and is loved by many people. This made Kurama Yakumo even hate Konoha in the ignorance of those villagers and ninjas for 10 years. But now, Zhao Yuchen, a time traveler, appeared, ruthlessly exposing the true face of Sarutobi Hiruzen's hypocrisy in the diary. He is like a ray of light, shooting into Kurama Yakumo's dark heart, becoming the only one. To her, Zhao Yuchen is not a time traveler, but a god-given husband. How much she hated Sarutobi Hiruzen, now she loves Zhao Yuchen even more. I see. I'll find a way to get him to see you. Although he couldn't understand Kurama Yakumo's brain circuit, Yuhihong didn't ask any more questions. Let Zhao Yuchen meet Yakumo, she will definitely do it. Thank you, Teacher Hong. Kurama Yakumo smiled like a flower. Yuhihong was in a trance for a moment. 10 years ago, Yakumo has never smiled since he was explicitly told by his parents that he was not allowed to become a ninja. I didn't expect to see it today, and the reason was just because I thought I could see a man. Even if it is to protect this smile, I will do what I say. But before that, I need to observe Yuchen for a while. Don't let Yakumo be fooled by him. Secretly making up her mind, Kurenai Yuhi chatted with Kurama Yakumo for a while. It has been a long time since the master and apprentice have such a peaceful chat. But soon a ninja appeared and told Yuhihong to leave. Sarutobi Hiruzen also had rules about when she would meet Kurama Yakumo. Yakumo, see you in 3 days. Yuhihong turned and left. Kurama Yakumo quietly watched her back, and couldn't help but imagine the scene when he saw Zhao Yuchen. If I propose to marry him, surely he won't refuse. Kurama Yakumo sat there shyly for a while. After a while, she turned her head to look at the drawing board on one side, with a sickly smile on her face. If he refuses, it's the world's fault. Then there is no need for this world to exist. Boom. Kurama Yakumo made a stroke on the drawing board, and the painting fell like lightning. Hundreds of feet away, the sky was originally clear, but it suddenly turned into dark clouds, and then a purple thunderbolt fell, smashing a mountain peak. Yu Hahong, who had just walked to the gate, was taken aback and turned her head instinctively. Just then, a call came from ahead. Red. Azuki Shion and Mitarashi Anko came to Yuhihong. Shion, Anko, why are you here? Yuhihong put on a smiling face. Azuki Shion and Anko looked at each other. The former raised his hand and asked, Hong, can you see what's going on here? Yu Hahong looked down, her red eyes suddenly shrank. You guys. Sure enough, you do too. Anko grinned. Azuki Shion is holding a copy of Zhao Yuchen's diary. After repeatedly confirming that only those who are also the holders of the copy of the diary can see it, she used it as a test standard. Anyone who can see it means that there is also a copy of the exclusive diary. Red, hurry up. Let's add friends. Anko hurriedly pulled out his copy of the diary, excited like someone who just got a cell phone. Add friend? It's a hidden function of the diary. Azuki Shion explained, and by the way analyzed the conclusions she and Anko made after the experiment. So amazing. Yuhihong also became interested. She took out a copy of the diary, and added friends with Azuki Shion respectively. After trying to chat a few words, she looked back with some confusion. What's wrong? Azuki Shion asked. That child also has a diary, and I'm considering whether to go back and become friends with her. Shirihong said honestly. Add it. It will be convenient to chat in the future. Anko said carelessly. In comparison, Azuki Shion was calmer and asked, do you have any concerns? Well, this child is a bit special. Yuhihong nodded. This is a good girlfriend, and now there is a connection with the holder of the copy of the diary. After a little hesitation, she told your 2 daughters about Kurama Yakumo. As for saying Sarutobi Hiruzen asked her to keep it secret. Do you really think she is a pedantic stupid woman? It's so pitiful. Anko sympathized. The old monkey deserves what he deserves. Shi Hahong was speechless for a while. I know that you have a problem with 3rd generation because of the experience after Orochimaru's defection, but it is not necessary to forcefully take the blame. Regarding Kurama Yakumo, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't do anything, it was completely unwarranted. At this time, Azuki Shion suddenly said, I think the matter of Kurama Yakumo is easy to solve. Hearing this, Yuhihong's eyes lit up. How to say? We still rely on this. Azuki Shion patted the diary on her hands, and calmly analyzed. You dare not tell Kurama Yakumo the truth because you are afraid that the fact that she killed her parents with her own hands will stimulate her and cause the monster Ito to fully awaken. But now we have a diary. As long as we can get the reward of being mentioned the most times every day, we have a chance to get a resurrected person. There is also the blood inheritance limit, the special constitution, which can increase chakra by 1% if it is mentioned 10 times a day. These may be able to solve her physical condition. You just need to clarify this with Kurama Yakumo in advance, and let her know that everything has a chance to be resolved, so you don't have to worry about her getting desperate and let Ito fully awaken. Even when the matter is resolved, Yidu may be obliterated. The authenticity of this diary copy was understood by Azuki Shion. After listening to her words, Yu Hahong opened her mind and said pleasantly, "You are right. As long as I take psychological precautions for Yakumo, she may not necessarily collapse if she finds out the truth. In this way, I can rest assured to ask Yuchen to meet her." Zhao Yuchen knows everything. Kurenai Yuhi wanted him to meet with Kurama Yakumo, and then mentioned the solution to Ito in the diary. But she was also afraid that Yuchen would mention Kurama Yakumo's past, and let Yakumo collapse after knowing the truth. Azuki Shion's current suggestion can avoid bad situations to the greatest extent. Of course, she still needs to do a few more preparations. It seems that Yuchen won't be able to see Yakumo in a short time. Yu Hihong lowered her head in thought for a moment, then raised her head and said, "I decided to approach Mr. Yuchen by myself first. Being on good terms makes it convenient for me to invite her to see Yakumo. Third generation is planning on me, and it needs to be confirmed. Also, Yakumo seems to have a love brain. I have to make sure that Mr. Yuchen is worthy of entrustment. During this period, if I can get the resurrection reward, first resurrect Yakumo's parents, all problems will be solved." Her decision was immediately approved by Azuki Shion. "That's fine. As Anbu, I usually have many tasks in little time, so it is convenient for me to meet him publicly. Anko is too reckless, it's not appropriate to offend someone just now. It's just fine for you to do it." Yu Hihong agreed. Anko curled his lips and said, "Don't just stand here and chat, you haven't eaten lunch, let's go to the sugar shop and discuss it in detail." Hearing this, Yu Hihong and Azuki Shion looked at each other and smiled. Yu Hihong joked, "You have to eat sweet meatballs with Anko's sweet soup. I think you will become a fat woman in the future, and this bad habit cannot be separated." "Nonsense." Anko said that he didn't believe it, put his hands on his hips and said, "I have been eating this way for more than 10 years, and I can see that this thing is growing. I haven't gained weight in other places. There must be other reasons. If I had to guess, someone must have poisoned me." Shi Hahong and Azuki Shion couldn't help rolling their eyes. "As expected of you, you are really thick-skinned. Tell the truth." Anko raised his chin and said, "If you are free, I will invite you to drink and soak in the hot spring at night, so that we can compare." Both Yu Hihong and Azuki Shion have strong personalities, how can they admit defeat? Compare. So the three women set up a match. At the same time, the ninja school rooftop. "Come on, everyone, cheers." On the roof of the ninja school, Zhao Yuchen raised his cup and collided with 9 other cups. That's right, there are 9 more cups belonging to Hyuga Hinata, Yamanaka Ino, Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke, Akamichi Choji, Nara Shikamaru, Inuzuka Kiba, and Aburame Shino. The future Konoha 12 Xiaoqiang, except Hyuga Neji, Tien Tien and Li Lok who graduated earlier, were all present. And the reason for this situation is because Zhao Yuchen treats guests generously to barbecue. Uzumaki Naruto came to hand in the review, and Haruno Sakura was the enthusiastic classmate who brought him to find Zhao Yuchen. Both Inuzuka Ya and Akamaru have dog noses, and they found it on the balcony after smelling the scent. Aburame Shino followed Inuzuka Tooth all the way, and was sensed by Zhao Yuchen. Akamichi Choji smelled the smell of barbecue at his own barbecue restaurant in the school, and took Shikamaru to the balcony. As for Sasuke, when he was eating lunch in the classroom, he was annoyed by a group of female students and sneaked up on the rooftop. As an excellent teacher, Zhao Yuchen invited him to eat together. And Sasuke is worthy of being a tsundere, with an expression that I am not interested, but the teacher invited me only to save face. So, 9 people live together, groups of 5 around 2 ovens. On Zhao Yuchen's left is Sasuke, on his right is Ino, then Hinata, Haruno Sakura. Behind Sasuke is Naruto flanked by Aburame Shino and Inuzuka. Boom. After toasting, everyone drank the drink in one gulp. Akamichi Choji chomped down on the meat, his movements were exaggerated, as if he had been reincarnated from starvation. Zhao Yuchen felt that he wanted to help the family earn more money to return home. Shikamaru shouted, "Trouble," but his hands were very diligent, holding long chopsticks in charge of grilling meat. Aburame Shino has no sense of presence, but Zhao Yuchen has been paying attention to him with perception skills, chatting a few words from time to time. If he has a favorability system, he will probably hear a prompt like, Aburame Shino favorability +1 inch, +1. Inuzuka took Akamaru and Naruto to fight tit for tat, competing who could eat yakiniku faster, making Choji's eyes turn red. But they also seem to have a huge momentum, and the real cook has to look at Hinata. Hinata-chan, you are really amazing. Ino swallowed silently. She is not greedy, but frightened. She watched Hinata observe the doneness of the grilled meat with white eyes, and then use the speed of gentle fist to pick out the meat with chopsticks. The movement is graceful, but the speed is extremely fast. Akimichi Choji's eating looks exaggerated, but the portion is less than half of Hinata. Is there a different space in this stomach? 2 blushes appeared on Hinata's cheeks, and the movement of clamping the flesh froze. At this time, Zhao Yuchen made a rescue and said, "Eat well to develop well." Hinata is a person who practices gymnastics. Eating is normal. As he said that, he also showed a warm male signature smile. Ino said that she was dazzled, and this is Jane's benefit for the beauty control. An inexplicable gleam flashed deep in Hinata's eyes. He put down his chopsticks and raised his head and said, "Mr. Yuchen, besides this barbecue meal, I also want to thank you for inviting me to eat noodles." "May I treat you to noodles?" Zhao Yuchen was taken aback. "Ever had this happen? You reserved a good amount of money at Ichiraku Ramen last night, and said that as long as your students go, you can use this money to eat noodles." Hinata reminded. "I ate 20 bowls of the deluxe version in one sitting last night." "You are so generous." Ino et al. Zhao Yuchen. Then Choji and Naruto said in unison, "Is there such a good thing?" Zhao Yuchen. Seeing Hinata shyly playing with her fingers, everyone will find it cute. But Zhao Yuchen had the illusion that there was a little devil behind her, and her body shivered involuntarily. "Certainly." Zhao Yuchen nodded to Choji and Naruto. "As long as you are my student, you can pay me for eating noodles at Ichiraku Ramen. However, it's only for the students in school. After the graduates become ninjas, they can go out to perform tasks to make money, and the teacher doesn't care about it." Although he didn't put money in his eyes, Zhao Yuchen felt that Choji and Naruto would definitely squeeze his wool, so he imposed restrictions. "After the 2 of them graduate in 7 days, let's treat them as they please. At that time, he will want to resign as a teacher, and there will be no new students." "Perfect. What, isn't that only 7 days left to eat Ichiraku Ramen for free?" Naruto immediately showed a wrong expression. "You can rest assured about this." Inuzuka Ya immediately comforted, and said, "You will definitely not pass the exam. Won't you be able to eat for a year if you repeat the exam?" "That's right." Naruto showed a surprised expression. But immediately after, he growled at Inuzuka Fang. "Asshole, you will not pass the exam. With teacher Yuchen here, I will definitely pass. This reaction is really slow. Idiot." Sasuke showed a disgusted expression. "I'm going to eat 21 bowls tonight." Choji gave Hinata a defiant look. She said that she can't lose in eating, she still loses to girls. Shikamaru. "What a hassle, Hinata. Everything is teacher Yuchen's fault." The situation in front of him made the corners of Zhao Yuchen's mouth twitch. Is Hinata sincerely thanking her, or is she deliberately promoting this incident to empty her wallet? Well, it would be possible with Ino, but cutie Hinata sure wouldn't do such a thing. Illusion, it must be an illusion. Suddenly, such a sentence appeared in the diary. Let the women feel inexplicable, but the next moment, they were all breathless. Recorded. Zhu Shaoqiang eating barbecue picture. What is a network? This is called networking. Tactical back. Uzumaki Naruto, child of destiny, a new generation of 3 spicy, future 7th Hokage, the savior of the ninja world. Uchiha Sasuke, the strongest man next to Naruto in the future, a new generation of 3 spicy, secretly guarding Konoha, or the entire ninja world. Haruno Sakura, a commoner ninja who works hard enough, is a new generation of Sanla, who worships Tsunade as his teacher. Not only is medical ninjutsu better than blue, but it only takes 3 years to master Baihao technique that Shizune cannot master. Nara Shikamaru, Chunin, the first of the 12 Shaoqiang, the number 1 military division of 7th generation. Ino's wife, both talent and beauty, the flower of ninja blooming in Konoha. Akimichi Choji, Inuzuka Tooth, Aburame Shino. Hinata's wife, a descendant of Otsutsuki Hamura, has extremely high purity white eyes. She is called Princess White Eyes by the Otsutsuki family and the dead souls of the Otsutsuki family. Konoha 12 Shaoqiang, 9 of them eat barbecue with me. This is the 2nd day of time travel. With these 9 younger brothers, Konoha's surname is Zhao. Zhao Yuchen simply felt that the scene in front of him was very harmonious, so he took photos and recorded it. Diary. Diary. Isn't it just to record those impressive things in a day? But he didn't know how many people these words shocked. Konoha 12 Little Strongs. It sounds like a special title like Konoha Sanin, Konoha 8 Colors, Made Up, Instant Shisui, Yellow Flash, and Konoha Baya. The two saviors of the ninja world, Ino Shika Cho, Hyuga Aburame, and the commoner Little Sakura who can be bestowed upon Tsunade, one of the Sanin. Konoha is still the same Konoha, never lacking in talent. Samuel, Terumi Mei and other non-Konohagakure people looked solemn, and immediately recorded the names and identity information of the 9 Naruto people, and began to analyze how to treat them. Under normal circumstances, the first thought must be to get rid of it and kill the threat in its infancy. Since Senju Hashirama and Uchiha pacified the troubled times and established the system of one country, one ninja village, the major ninja villages are keen to assassinate each other's undeveloped geniuses. To kill the geniuses of other villages is to kill the future of other villages and go along with their own long-term interests. And Zhao Yuchen knows everything in the ninja world, and he must be more accurate and more valuable than any information. But the problem is that what Zhao Yuchen said is too detailed. The 5 words, the savior of the ninja world, are not just talking about Konoha. A shallow guess, it should be an event that endangers the entire ninja world in the future, and was stopped by Naruto and Sasuke. If the two of them are dealt with ahead of time, no one will be able to solve the incident, and there will be no eggs under the overturned nest. What's more, they don't know Zhao Yuchen's attitude towards everyone and everything. Therefore, before knowing exactly what will happen in the future, one must not act rashly, and even protect these important people. Is this the trouble of knowing too much? The girls showed burdened expressions. Tsunade and Shizune also thought of this, so they are not so worried about the future of these Konoha being exposed by Zhao Yuchen. Instead, they care more about Haruno Sakura. Shizune could not master Baihao technique after more than 10 years of serious study, but Haruno Sakura only took more than 3 years to master it, which shows his talent and compatibility with Tsunade. The title of the new 3 Spicy can also explain some things. This disciple is not bad. Tsunade immediately thought of accepting disciples. At the same time she is very concerned about Naruto and Sasuke. So these two have Jiraiya and Orochimaru as their mentors, respectively. Child of Destiny, Ninja World Savior. Things get really interesting. The most surprising ones were Kushina and Makoto. Seeing the 12-year-old Naruto and Sasuke in the photo, tears welled up in my eyes. They don't care about their son's achievements, they just want them to be well. Looks good now? In the initial ball space. Otsutsuki Kagaya suddenly opened his eyes, the white pupils shrank, and his small mouth opened slightly. She just let go of the rhetoric that there is nothing in the ninja world that can make a concubine lose her temper, and she was slapped in the face by the speed of light. Tensigen. Tensigen is an ultimate pupil technique that can only be opened by combining chakra and Beian of the Otsutsuki family. It has the power of destruction and creation. It is the same as Rinnegan and has the same level. It's just that Rinnegan is more inclined to creation, as well as various auxiliary and functional means. Tensigen is more inclined to destroy, especially the increase in combat power is still higher than Rinnegan. If you are keen on fighting, you must value Tensigen more than Rinnegan. In Otsutsuki's main family, there are very few people who can evolve Beian into Tensigen. On the contrary, it is Rinnegan, who can be awakened as long as he swallows the fruit, and can increase the hook jade as his strength increases. If this person named Zhao Yuchen didn't write in the diary, her descendant named Hyuga Hinata really has the qualifications to awaken Tensigen, and she has great potential. When the concubine goes out, she can be given the honor of handing over her eyes to the concubine for fusion. If Tensigen and Rinnegan Sharingan can coexist, you will be a member of the same family, and you will not be afraid of being a concubine. Kagaya put away his expression, a desire rose in his pure white eyes. She seemed to have seen the picture of Hinata kneeling in front of her, piously surrendering her eyes, and beating Otsutsuki Jinshi and others violently after she awakened Tensigen. The concubine admits to underestimating you, and you can tell the things that make the concubine lose her composure. After regaining his composure, Kagaya thought of his thoughts not long ago, and felt embarrassed for the first time. But it was only a moment before she was snuffed out, and she regained her confidence. But it's only limited to this, only this time. At the same time, Hinata, the person involved, was so shocked that she didn't even care about Zhao Yuchen calling her wife again in the diary. She has always felt that she is a waste, not to mention the talent and strength compared with the genius Neji cousin, even the younger sister who is 5 years younger. Hyuga Hazashi might not have died without her. Without her, my father wouldn't have to worry about who to play caged bird to. Can you hear what Zhao Yuchen means? Is she actually a real genius? Moreover, Beian can evolve like Sharingan. Well, that seems reasonable, too. Hamura, Yuya, the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan have a common ancestor, Otsutsuki. Sharingan can evolve, and Beian can evolve as well. I have to find a way to evolve the white eyes. Hinata's eyes gradually became firm. Although caged bird is a measure to protect Beian from being stolen, and to protect the blood of the Hyuga clan from being coveted. But from her point of view, it's more like the curse of Hyuga's house. She doesn't want to be planted. Caged bird loses her freedom, and she doesn't want her sister Hanabi to be planted. If you can have the Tensigan that you have never heard of, maybe you can change everything? And if you want to know the method, you can only rely on Zhao Yuchen. For my sister, for the family, and for myself. Hinata continued to cheer herself up, overcome her inner shyness, sandwiched a piece of barbecue into the lettuce, spread the sauce, put it on Zhao Yuchen's dinner plate, and said softly, "Teacher Yuchen, please eat." "Thank you." Zhao Yuchen smiled gently, picked up the barbecue and put it in his mouth. After eating, he gave a thumbs up. The grill is just right. Hinata is very talented as a wife and mother. On the small life side, praising a woman as a good wife is the greatest compliment. Hinata suddenly felt her cheeks warm up, but her brain didn't feel shy and dizzy like usual. She was very surprised, thinking that her courage seemed to have improved, and then she saw Zhao Yuchen update the Japanese content. On the second day of traveling, the weather was fine, and we were on the roof of the ninja school. It was worth remembering to eat the barbecue that Hinata's wife baked and wrapped by himself. The fly in the ointment is that she didn't feed me herself. The revolution has not yet succeeded, I still need to work hard. Hinata wife, Saigao, boom. A puff of mist rose from Hinata's head. She felt that her brain was hot and dizzy, but I can still persist, as long as Zhao Yuchen stops talking about tigers and wolves. You really know how to pretend, you're worthy of being an actor, it's a pity not to make a movie with Fuji Fuyuki. Ino cast a sideways glance at Zhao Yuchen. Who would have thought that a guy who is gentle and refined on the surface is full of tigers and wolves in secret? As a member of the Yamanaka family, she can be said to be half a psychiatrist, and she can be sure that Zhao Yuchen is mensao. But she didn't think there was anything wrong with what Zhao Yuchen wrote in the diary. Not to mention that people originally wrote for themselves, they can write whatever they want. With a delicate mind, she can actually feel the randomness revealed between the lines. Zhao Yuchen said that this is a real world, but as a time traveler, he still has a game mentality. It's like she traveled to a comic book and saw the characters in it with her own eyes. She can change as she wants, and she also finds it fun. When Zhao Yuchen starts to seriously write a diary and record what he sees and hears every day, it will show that he has truly integrated into this new world. Teacher Yuchen, also look at my craftsmanship. Ino wrapped a piece of barbecue and put it on Zhao Yuchen's dinner plate. This can be regarded as a relief for Hinata, and it also wants to highlight the sense of presence and let Zhao Yuchen mention himself more. Yeah. Zhao Yuchen put the grilled meat into his mouth. At this moment, the corners of Ino's lips moved slightly, and he asked, "Teacher, do you want me to feed you personally? Is this kind of thing okay?" Zhao Yuchen immediately wanted to ask back. But considering that he didn't know Ino well enough, he pretended to shake his head reservedly. "No, it's not good to be seen by others." Wrong billion. After tasting Hinata's wife's hand-baked grilled meat, I also tasted Ino's wife's craftsmanship, each with its own flavor. Ino also said he would feed me, but I didn't have the nerve to agree. There is ample time. Teacher Yuchen, do you mean that if no one else is present, you will agree to let me feed you? Ino suddenly asked. Zhao Yuchen almost choked on the barbecue, took a sip of his drink before recovering, and immediately corrected. It doesn't matter if there is anyone, I mean we have to pay attention to identity. As expected of a goblin whose words are positive love and affection, is that how it is now? Almost didn't collapse. What a shame. Ino almost laughed out loud. Why does it feel that Mr. Yuchen is cute? Interesting, really interesting. Ino thought it was fun, but he didn't continue to make trouble. In case Yuchen finds it tricky, the gain outweighs the loss, and it is better to proceed step by step. But she didn't know that all her performances were watched by a pink-haired woman. There is indeed a problem. Haruno Sakura looked serious. She was wondering if Ino fell in love with Teacher Yuchen and was ready to take the initiative. Although Teacher Yuchen is very young, it can even be said that he is just right for Ino. But teachers and students should not be allowed to do this, right? No, If it was Ino, wouldn't it be particularly exciting? And wouldn't it be better to have one less strong opponent to compete with yourself for Sasuke? Haruno Sakura tried to convince herself, but when she glanced at Sasuke beside her, she found that she was not as happy as she imagined. Should be worried about Ino? Definitely is. Just then, a big face came into view. Nah. Classmate Hinata, can you try grilling a piece of meat too? Naruto said with a smile, and aggressively inserted into the gap between the little Sakura and Sasuke. Haruno Sakura frowned subconsciously, but didn't speak, but moved closer to Hinata. Eat my grilled meat. Hinata was a little surprised that Naruto would make such a request. But seeing this sunny smiling face juxtaposed with little Sakura, her heart was unexpectedly calm. The barbecue approved by Mr. Yuchen must be delicious. Naruto said that he came to join in the show. But in fact, he came to spoil the situation. Thanks to teacher Yuchen, he was able to have the experience at noon today, which was a joy he had never had since he was sensible. The bickering tooth, Shikamaru who is grilling meat, and Choji who is grabbing delicious food, each is his rare friend. The only fly in the ointment is that Sasuke is also there, sitting with little Sakura. Now it's just right to be able to separate the two with the excuse of eating meat. Naruto thought he was smart. Good. Hinata smiled softly and began to grill the meat. Looking at this scene, Zhao Yuchen felt very strange. There is a strange discovery. Hinata would get dizzy easily when seeing me, but it was strange that he could talk to Naruto calmly and normally. It's not surprising that Hinata's wife is prone to dizziness. There is a scientific explanation. She is very shy. She has never eaten enough because of her strong appetite. The blood pressure rises, and the brain is hypoxic before fainting. Hinata secretly glanced at Zhao Yuchen. If she were Ino, now she would say, "Thank you, you also specialize in researching why I would faint with embarrassment." But as shy as she is, she can't open her mouth. But in the future, be sure to eat every meal. But why is she so shy when she sees me? Guess 1. Traveling through the past, changing the present in the future. Guess 2. The butterfly effect I brought. This world is considered a parallel world. Guess 3. This is the world of infinite Tsukuyomi. I won infinite Tsukuyomi. This is the most unlikely. Because I am hanging on the wall. Seeing this, the women holding the diaries immediately regained their spirits. Unexpectedly, there is still the power to travel back to the past in the ninja world, and they remembered this. There is also infinite Tsukuyomi, which is already the second time I see it. Will it have something to do with Naruto and Sasuke saving the ninja world? Need to focus on investigating. As for which possibility it is, we have to find time to confirm it later. However, it's a good thing that Hinata's wife is shy to me, and I just need to keep looking forward to Naruto. Longing is the feeling farthest from understanding. Action is to live up to oneself. Achu. I don't know how far away in a certain world. The captain of the 5th division of a certain soul society sneezed. Then, he pushed his glasses, showing surprise. I actually still sneeze like a human being in this world? Sure enough, this body is very weak. A plan to get Hogyoku, time to start. Boom. What happened in the Otherworld Soul Society has nothing to do with the Hokage world. The women only thought that it was no wonder that Zhao Yuchen got this weird diary. He turned out to be a great writer who could write such philosophical words. No wonder a will of fire can explain flowers. And Hinata just felt his mind explode suddenly. Longing is the feeling furthest from understanding. It turns out that she and Naruto have always been the furthest away. Yes. Because she doesn't have it herself, she yearns for Naruto's quality and ninja way, and wants to have it too. But from the beginning to the end, she didn't really understand Naruto. It's not that she likes Naruto, she's longing for what she wants to be. At this moment, Hinata was enlightened, and then completely let go. Looking at Naruto again, his eyes are still dazzling, but he no longer has that halo. I have always dreamed of it, and it will not change. Take action to live up to yourself. Hinata finds new direction. At this moment, Zhao Yuchen became completely different in her eyes, no longer because of the diary, but because of the title of Hinata's wife. Taking a deep breath, Hinata showed a slight smile, and calmly placed the grilled meat on Naruto's plate. Sasuke, did you see that? Naruto was not in a hurry to eat, but picked up the grilled meat and dangled it in front of Sasuke's eyes. Idiot, boring. Sasuke pouted. Naruto smiled smugly. At this moment, a pair of chopsticks suddenly protruded from behind Naruto and caught on the barbecue. Crack. The barbecue was snatched away, accompanied by Inuzuka's proud voice. Idiot Naruto, This barbecue is mine. Hearing the movement, Akamichi Choji suddenly looked up at the barbecue in Iba's hand, and shouted, "Leave me the last piece of barbecue." As he spoke, he directly transformed into a meat bomb chariot. Inuzuka Ya wanted to hide, but staggered and fell backwards. At this moment, Naruto saw that the barbecue was robbed, and was about to get it back. In the middle of getting up, he lost his balance directly under the pressure of Inuzuka Fang, and fell forward. In the next moment, the picture freezes and time becomes quiet. Puff. Zhao Yuchen took a sip of his drink, and blurted out a Chinese quintessence in this otherworld. Mist grass. Punch in, record. Naruto kisses Sasuke strongly. At this moment, Indra and Ashura have confirmed each other and are the right people. This should have happened 7 days later, but I didn't expect it to happen earlier. It should be the butterfly effect brought about by my time travel. But I think Naruto and Sasuke should thank me. Originally, they wanted to die in front of all the students in the class. Now including me, there are only 8 people watching. Zhao Yuchen looked at the scene in front of him with great interest. Akamichi Choji held onto Inuzuka's teeth for meat, and the latter leaned against Naruto to pin him down. Naruto threw Sasuke under him, and the two kissed mouth to mouth, their eyes widened. In the original trajectory, the two would immediately separate after accidentally kissing each other, and then retch for a while. But now, with Inuzuka and Akamichi Choji, Naruto can't walk at all, and Sasuke is more passive. Boom. Haruno Sakura only felt a bolt from the blue. Sasuke's first kiss was actually taken away by Naruto, which really ruined her eyes. In contrast, Ino, who has let go of his playfulness with Sasuke, shows a melon-eating expression. If she hadn't brought a camera, she would definitely have recorded the precious scene in front of her. However, after seeing the update of Zhao Yuchen's diary, she said, "It's a beautiful job. Don't watch the excitement, pull people away quickly." Zhao Yuchen motioned Shikamaru and Shino to pull people away. Ino. You are the most diligent in eating melons, and you have left a permanent black history of Mingzhou CP in your diary. Are you embarrassed to say that others are watching the fun? Bah, bah, bah. Ah, tail of the crane, I'm going to kill you. Fart Sasuke, I'm going to kill you. Vomit. Both of them were heartbroken, but at the same time, a strange bond was growing. At the same time, the women holding diaries were greatly shocked. The female ninja from the outer village said, "Yoho, are you Konohas so open?" Puff. In Konoha village, Anko squirted out his beloved sweet soup and exclaimed, "Now the little devils are playing so flamboyantly?" So these two are a couple, and the little Sakura is the third party. Azuki Shion said sharply. This is obviously an accident. Shi Hahong smiled helplessly. Azuki Shion is usually a very rational, wise and independent woman. But after being with Anko, the two will have a special chemical reaction and say some strange things. What accident? I think it has been planned for a long time. Anko vowed. Didn't you read Zhao Yuchen said that this should have happened 7 days later? The Uchiha clan is rich in handsome men, and the extermination of the clan is the loss of women all over the world. This kid named Sasuke looks prettier than girls, so it's normal for boys to like him. Yuhihong looked at Anko, who was talking more and more outrageous, and couldn't laugh or cry. As a result, Azuki Shion nodded and said, "I think this is fate." Evening read. But what does this matter have to do with Indra and Ashura? Azuki Shion thought while holding her chin. Just kidding, she didn't forget to collect useful information. What Indra and Ashura? Suddenly a rough voice came from outside the door. Afterwards, 2 figures lifted the curtain and walked into the tongshui shop. Asuma, Kakashi. Those who entered were none other than Sarutobi Asuma, the son of Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Hitaki Kakashi. Yo. Kakashi raised his hand to signal, but kept his eyes on the open book in his hand. Asuma greeted the 3 of them, then looked at Kurenai Yuhi with amazement in her eyes. I haven't seen her in nearly 10 years. Not only is Yuhihong more beautiful than she was when she was a girl, but her red eyes are still lively, her long black hair is fluffy, and she wears a red dress. She has a unique charm of Yuji. Thinking of his father's confession, his originally random heart suddenly became hot. For the position of Hokage, he actually didn't have much idea, but the beauty in front of him wanted to catch up. Asuma, no one told you that it's bad manners to eavesdrop on girls behind your back. Is it polite? As she had been mentally prepared, Kurenai Yuhi keenly noticed the burning heat in Asuma's eyes. She felt a chill all over her body for no reason, as if she was being stared at by wild animals and regarded as food. This made her very upset, and she was a little rushed in speaking. Asuma was momentarily speechless. If it was in the past, he would have said straightforwardly, as a ninja, you should pay attention to your surroundings and avoid being eavesdropped. But now he doesn't want to offend Yu Hahong. Let's go. Kurenai Yuhi didn't bother to listen to Asuma's explanation. She slapped the banknotes on the table, and called Anko and Azuki Shion to leave together. The three of them walked out of the shop without looking back, with no good looks the whole time. Kakashi looked at the book by himself, saying he didn't know anything. Until Asuma said, I didn't expect Hong to be so energetic now, I'm sure. Kakashi. Hee. Did you see that look in his eyes? It's as if I was her woman. It's disgusting. Shi Hahong said angrily to her two girlfriends. The two looked at each other. Anko put his arms around Yuhi's red neck, and said with a smile, I'll treat you to a hot spring tonight, so you can calm down. Okay. I'm going to drink enough tonight, Hong said with a bit of annoyance. At the same time, in Pure Land and Sealed Space, Makoto and Kushina exclaimed with synchronized expressions, my Sasuke, Naruto, actually likes boys. It's not that their reflection arcs are long, it's really too shocking after seeing the photos. After all, Zhao Yuchen, a wicked guy, didn't show the whole picture at the beginning, but intercepted the picture of two people kissing. The panorama was released later, but the accompanying words let people know that Sasuke and Naruto seem to be destined for each other. This is outrageous. Then the two said simultaneously, it's all Makoto's, Kushina's, fault. Absolute. The next moment, a voice suddenly rang in the ears of the two of them. Sensing that there are other diary copies within the infinite range, do you want to turn on the friend-making function and add the other party as a friend? Makoto and Kushina were stunned for a moment, then they both nodded instinctively. Yes. The friend-making function is turned on. Send a friend request. You received a friend application from Uchiha Makoto, Uzumaki Kushina. Did you approve it? Oh who? In the sealed space, Uzumaki Kushina clicked on the video without a teacher. In a dark space in Pure Land, Uchiha Makoto received the application and immediately chose to pass it. The next moment, the two appeared on the screen on the last page of the copy of the diary, and they could see each other. Makoto. Kushina. The two girls showed surprise expressions. One of them was trapped in the Pure Land, and the other was in the sealed space. It's fine if you're asleep, but it's really boring to be alone when you wake up. That is to say, the time is still short, otherwise, even if they have a diary to relieve their boredom, they will be driven crazy because no one talks. But it's been a long time since I saw my best friend when I was young, and it's still an indescribable surprise. But the next moment, Kushina asked, Makoto, look at your son, how can you let him seduce my son? At this point, Makoto's smile froze on his face, and then he took a deep breath and said, Kushina, I died when Sasuke was 8 years old, and it's clearly your son kissing my son in the picture. You died when Sasuke was 8? Kushina looked surprised. She thought Uchiha Makoto was still alive. After all, judging from Zhao Yuchen's diary, Konoha is peaceful now. The Uchiha family is a wealthy family, and Makoto, as the wife of the patriarch, does not need to go to the front line unless the war is urgent, let alone go out to perform missions to make money. How can I die? This is the Pure Land for me. Regarding the eldest son Itachi, Makoto didn't want to explain too much, but just turned the diary to let Kushina see the environment on his side. Compared with Kushina's side, which is radiant and warm, her side is more like a cage, and what releases the light is a fire. It's good to be able to accompany Sasuke until he is 8 years old. My son has never even met me, let alone you have an older son, Kushina said with half envy and half comfort. Makoto smiled softly. Kushina, you are still so incapable of comforting people. Kushina scratched her head in embarrassment, and then said, that Makoto, my son, Kushina originally wanted to ask Naruto how he was growing up. It's not bad even if you only know about things before the age of 8. As a girlfriend, she should have paid attention to Naruto, right? But before she could speak, she found that the video call had been hung up. Immediately afterwards, a message appeared on the chat bar. Uchiha Makoto. Kushina, I have lost too much chakra, and I feel very tired. I need to sleep for a while, and we will talk later. Huh? Chakra lost a lot? Kushina was a little dazed. She felt it carefully and found that chakra was indeed lost, but the amount was less than 1/10 of the chakra sealed in Naruto's body by Namikaze Minato, and it was still recovering rapidly. Will it be very tiring? Damn it. Why did old man chakra disappear suddenly? 9 tails roared in the cage. Oh, it's because of 9 tails. In the sealed space, Kushina quickly reacted. The 8-sign seal is a double seal of 2 4-sign seals, which can not only seal 9 tails, but also restore the 9 tails chakra leaked in the seal to Naruto. As long as her chakra in the seal is not activated, it can be recovered with a little consumption. That is, she was chatting with chakra from 9 tails. In comparison, although Makoto was Jonin Uchiha before his death, but now only the soul is left, and there must not be many chakra available. I don't know how fast the Pure Land recovers chakra. Next time I'll chat with Makoto by text, you can chat for a while longer. Kushina became annoyed. But soon, she began to fumble with the add friend function of the diary copy. If you figure out the principle, you may be able to get in touch with the outside world who has a copy of the diary. It seems that the friend request appeared because I called Makoto's name. Could it be this reason? Tsunade, Senju Tsunade, Shizune, Ino, Hyuga Hinata? Kushina called her former friends and the names Zhao Yuchen mentioned in the diary all over again, but it was useless. Is it a matter of distance? What does infinitely close mean? Because Makoto is in the Pure Land, I'm dead too, everywhere? Kushina thought about it seriously. At this time, Naruto and Sasuke, who were retching for a long time, finally recovered. They looked at each other, wishing they could kill each other with painless pain. Cough. Zhao Yuchen decided to appease the two, and said with a smile, "It's all accidents, don't hurt your peace. In this way, teacher, I will teach you a new ninjutsu, let's have fun together." New ninjutsu. Everyone was attracted by Zhao Yuchen's words. As a qualified ninja, there is no one who does not want to learn more ninjutsu that he can master. Well, this is the shadow clone technique. Zhao Yuchen went straight to the point, and separated 2 shadow clones from the seal, and let them fight each other. This display made both Naruto and Sasuke's eyes glow with fire, but the others didn't feel much. If they want to learn this ninjutsu, they just need to ask their parents. But this kind of clone ninjutsu that divides their own chakra equally is not suitable for them. It is the right way to repair the family secrets. Mr. Yuchen, let's go first. Shikamaru with a high IQ offered to leave. It's one thing that they don't want to learn, but it's another thing to see Zhao Yuchen teaching here. Go. I'll invite you to dinner again when I have a chance. Zhao Yuchen waved his hand. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura Jr., Ino and Hinata were soon left on the scene. Hinata originally wanted to leave, but was pulled by Ino to stay. And Haruno Sakura originally wanted to leave too, but it can be seen that Ino didn't leave and stayed cheeky. Zhao Yuchen didn't care about these, and started to explain the main points of the shadow clone technique to Sasuke and Naruto, that is, the types and order of knots that need to be used. Knot seal is the basic knowledge to be learned at the beginning of school. After 6 years of practice, even Naruto, who is a scumbag, is still a grandmaster. Shadow clone technique. Naruto made a seal slowly and shouted loudly. Boom. A dozen Naruto appeared, each with agility. Just the first time, he successfully cast it, and the mastery speed was still higher than Sasuke. The corners of Zhao Yuchen's mouth twitched slightly, thinking, is this Jinchuriki? Crack. Ino clapped his hands, and asked the dumbfounded little Sakura next to him. Little Sakura, I remember you said that if Naruto can learn the shadow clone technique, you can smash chestnuts with your wide forehead. Please be sure to keep your promise, little Sakura. Me. Little Sakura's face was flushed red, and she was so ashamed that she couldn't bear it. She didn't expect that the slap in the face would come so fast and so hard. Naruto, who can't even successfully use the clone technique, can learn the shadow clone technique in seconds, faster than Sasuke, which is simply unreasonable. But if she really wanted to hit chestnuts with her proud forehead, she couldn't do it. I was just joking. Little Sakura forced a laugh. So you can't afford it, you have to play tricks. Ino instantly turned into a hermaphrodite. A tic-tac-toe appeared on the forehead of little Sakura. It's okay to be looked down upon by others, but absolutely not with Yamanaka Ino. Don't worry, I will definitely fulfill my promise. I will still be here at this time tomorrow. I will bring my own things. Little Sakura gritted her teeth. As expected of the little Sakura who keeps his word, then it's a deal. Ino grinned, planning to set up the camera one step ahead tomorrow. It is so memorable, and even misses the dark history of a lifetime. No, it is a famous scene. Of course it should be recorded, right? Teacher, you don't seem to be surprised that Naruto can learn shadow clone so quickly. Ino tilted his neck and looked at Zhao Yuchen. This technique is not difficult to learn. Zhao Yuchen chose to avoid the important ones. He is really not surprised that Naruto will be able to shadow clone technique in seconds. After all, Naruto is a well-known scumbag, but he can learn multiple shadow clone techniques from the sealed scrolls, and it doesn't take much time. Now with his hands-on guidance, learning the less difficult shadow clone technique is naturally faster. As a member of the Uzumaki family in Jinchuriki, this technique was tailor-made for him. But there is no need to explain to Ino. Ha ha ha, I learned. Hello, hello. The main body, you are so funny, I am you. With so much at once, the graduation exam must be passed casually. Naruto didn't know that he had killed Haruno Sakura, and he would have a great time playing with shadow clones, grinning from the corner of his mouth to the ear. Especially after seeing that Sasuke failed to succeed after several attempts, he became more and more complacent, and his chin almost went up to the sky. Shadow clone technique. His complexion became more and more stinky. Sasuke faced Naruto's complacent gaze, and finally succeeded in casting shadow clone technique after a dozen attempts. This kind of learning speed is also genius among experienced Chunin and Jonin. And being able to learn it is one thing, being able to use it successfully is another. The biggest difficulty in performing the shadow clone technique is the amount of chakra, that is, Sasuke had already activated Sharingan on the night of genocide, he didn't know it, and there are actually a lot of chakra that can be extracted, otherwise this trick would not be possible. But if that's the case, he now has 3 shadow clones. Ha ha ha. Naruto laughed louder. Sasuke, you're too weak to have only 3. If I want to, I can share more. The idiot is at the end of the crane. Sasuke snorted coldly, and released the shadow clone with the seal of both hands. Unlike Naruto, who doesn't know any common sense, he also knows a little about the principle of shadow clone. The number of clones depends on the amount of their own chakra, which needs to be divided equally. He gets less because he arranges his chakra reasonably. Naruto's existence is purely pointless waste. But he didn't bother to preach, but his performance made Naruto feel that he didn't believe in himself and immediately wanted to prove it. Do you not believe me? HMPH, show me, I can give away 1,000. Saying so, Naruto is about to seal. Seeing this, Zhao Yuchen immediately said, Naruto, don't mess around. Naruto immediately hit the eggplant like frost, but he didn't dare to be disobedient. People like Zhao Yuchen who sincerely treat him well are simply rare treasures, and he cherishes them very much. I'm teaching you ninjutsu, but I don't want you to perform it in front of your classmates. Zhao Yuchen patted Naruto's head, smiled and said, this is ninjutsu to help you improve your strength, use it reasonably. Yes. Naruto was immediately moved and blamed himself. He felt that he could not disappoint teacher Yuchen. In the next few days, don't tell others that you have mastered the shadow clone technique, do you understand? Zhao Yuchen said. Don't worry, teacher Yuchen. I won't use shadow clone technique indiscriminately. Naruto promised immediately. Sasuke nodded coldly. Seeing this, Zhao Yuchen smiled and said, you misunderstood me. Naruto, think about it, if you used the shadow clone technique in the graduation exam, wouldn't Iruka's expressions be wonderful? Hearing this, Naruto was taken aback for a moment, followed by a very expectant smile. Yes, Iruka thinks he can't pass the clone technique exam, but if he uses the more powerful shadow clone technique, wouldn't the audience be shocked by then? This is much more interesting than the attention that graffiti on Hokage rocks ushered in. Teacher Yuchen, you were right. Naruto patted his chest to express that he understood. Seeing this, Sasuke put his hands in his pockets and said with a sideways face, boring. He, Uchiha Sasuke, is not the kind of person who likes to pretend. That is what Zhao Yuchen is thinking in his heart, otherwise he will definitely laugh out loud. That's right, you don't like pretending, after all, you will be beaten if you pretend. Okay. The afternoon class is about to start, let's go down. Zhao Yuchen glanced at the time and opened his mouth to remind. The 5 Hinata immediately answered, yes. After sending them to the classroom, Zhao Yuchen started to get down to business. He first allocated a shadow clone to go back to the office, and the main body used Flying Thunder God to return home, and then used the transformation technique to become an ordinary-looking person wandering around the village, looking for a suitable location to lay the Flying Thunder God imprint. In addition, he also found caravans from other countries and secretly left marks on their carriages. Among them, the ninjas from Grass Ninja Village are under his special care. The plan to rescue Shanglin's wife has officially started.